Hello. I just tried to log on before and it just said live stream not available. So, okay, it looks like we might be on now, and my little green lights are there. So we've got nobody in the house yet, so I'm waiting for somebody to join in. And then once you've joined, then I can find out, see whether you can hear me or not. So, yeah. 15:35. So, no, still not probably anybody here yet. So let's have a look. I'm 10 minutes early, I know, but oh, we've got one in there. Can you hear me? Is everything okay? Video's okay and the sound is okay? Just put a comment in the box, say yes, everything is okay, and then we're cooking with gas. Because before the YouTube says no, it wasn't working. Mark, good morning, Les. All good, all good. Oh, thanks very much, Mark. You're the first one on. Congratulations, well done. Up early. Are you from the UK, Mark, or are you from somewhere else? Oh, 7 on. Wow. And 10 minutes, well, 5 minutes early. So I've got my coffee, I've got my drinks, I'm all wound up, ready to go. Yes, okay. Harry Jones, one in party. Okay. Right, I'm just going to put a brick on this light just because there's a bit of a breeze and I don't want it to blow over, because I assume I'll be going into this usually for 3 hours or so, and I don't want the light to fall over. Give me 2 minutes. There's been no breeze all day, but I started this up 5 minutes ago, and the light at the back of the camera was wavering a little bit. So what I don't want to do, I don't want it to fall over whilst I'm on air. So 3:56. So okay, we've got a lot to talk about today. Hopefully it's going to be interesting, and you'll get some value out of it. And the elephant in the room really at the minute is the tax. I'm going to talk a little bit about the tax. I'm not a tax expert, but it wouldn't be Les if I didn't have a workaround or do my little bit of research and find out what's going on. And so I've got some alternatives, some ways of getting around, well, not getting around it, but other options. Man Bonner, best time of the year to be in Thailand, sitting outside in the nice cool breeze. I've still got a fan on in the background here because there was no breeze. I was working in the garden this morning, finishing off the little bit of garden that I needed to do, and a little bit of electrics, and just not a breeze. But now it's minimal, the breeze, but it's still very, very nice. And I agree with you. It is the best time of the year because it's like winter cooler season now. So you get up in the morning and there's a bit of a nip in the air, even though it's like still this morning when I got up to 27. So it's lovely. It's a nice time of the year. I do like this time of the year because it's nice and cool, or cooler than the hot season. So we're almost at 4 o'clock, or 4 o'clock Thai time, and it'll be 9 o'clock in the morning in the UK time. So I know I said in my little preview video for doing this. The clocks I know the clocks have already gone back, but that was for those people that normally watch it at 3 o'clock Thai time. I've done it for 4 o'clock, so you can have a lay in, so you don't have to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning to watch. I know there's always a rerun, and that's very well looked at, and I appreciate. Thanks very much for all those people that do look at the reruns. It's very informative. Okay, let's have a look. See where we're going on here. Okay, I've got my iPad. Okay, 17 people in the house. Thanks very much for joining. You're a little bit early, but anybody that's got any questions and they're watching this, put a Q at the beginning of it, and then I can see it's a question, because sometimes I get engrossed in doing the answers, pardon me, and I might miss the question that you've asked, and I do apologize if that happens. But if it happens, I'm not ignoring you. Just do the rewrite of the question again, and I'll go through it. Now, I've just done a video with regard to the living costs in Thailand, so if you haven't seen that yet, have a look at it. Up to now, it's got nearly 4,000 views on it, so it must be a little bit interesting, you know, because my normal views are about 1,000, but this one's 4,000. Thanks for the thumbs up. So, retired and living the dream. It is. I've got to say, I enjoy every single day of living here in Thailand. And my cost of living video that I've just done, there were so many people asked me to do a rerun of the video, and there was so much more that I wanted to put on it, but I think it ended up at 19 minutes, and that was cutting it down a lot. So if you want, I can do another video with regard to the costs of various other things like food and accommodation, hotels and things like that, but it's all very, very reasonable here. Now on my video, I go into that I'm on 60,000 baht a month. That's how much I actually spend, 60,000 baht a month, and we live a good life on that. Well, I think I live a good life on that as far as my standards. Other people maybe not, but horses for courses. Those people who want to spend more money living here, well, do so, and it's whatever standard of living that you like. For me personally, I couldn't afford this lifestyle that I've got in the UK. So that's my coffee gone. I've got refreshments here. I've got water and the soda drink. So because as you talk, you do lose your voice a little bit. So okay, Mr. Who live and well. Mr. Who is all good. Just discovered your channel. Where in Thailand do you live? I live in Rayong province, about an hour and a half away from Pattaya, 3 hours or so away from Bangkok, 3 hours away from Koh Chang. It's a nice little spot. I can't well, I travelled all around Thailand before I actually stayed in Rayong, and Rayong wasn't on my radar for places to live. And it was only the girl that I was seeing at the time, had a friend who lived in Rayong that wasn't very well. So we went to see her, and she was married to an English guy, and he suggested that I live in Rayong for 2 weeks. And he said, you're given everywhere else in Thailand 2 weeks, so give Rayong a go for 2 weeks. And I came for 2 weeks, and I've never left. That's because incredible value for money. As you say, if you watch the video about living in Thailand, we're 30 minutes away from Koh Samet, one of the most stunningly beautiful little islands in the whole of Thailand. It's got white sand beaches. It's just like flour. It's so fine. It's stunningly beautiful. And we're 30 minutes away from there. And we've got some nice beaches where we live. Personally, driving from here, it's 5 minutes, and it's a lovely beach. We have lovely restaurants on the beaches. So it is my little tropical paradise living here in Rayong. 2,000 baht a day is a lot to consider when the basic wage in Thailand is 300 baht a day. The government are trying to put that up to 400 baht a day. Do you think it's going to happen? I think there's going to be a lot more Cambodians who'll come here working. Well, thanks very much for discovering my channel. I hope you get good value out of it and enjoy. How's your Sunday going? It's going well. I did a little bit of work in the garden this morning. Finished off all that gravelling around where I changed the water system. I'm going to do another video about that, and it's maybe taken over a year and a half to do all that. We had a concrete water tank there. We knocked that down and we jackhammered the base of it. And it's took a long time, but I'm happy with the results of it, and it looks nice in comparison to what it was like. But it's took a long time to do it, but I've enjoyed doing it. I'm a DIY enthusiast. I like doing things myself. I try to do as many things myself, but sometimes you get value in paying other people. It's like the fence. You can see that fence there. It goes all around there's 10 panels, and it goes all. No, there's more than 10 panels. Anyway, it goes around the side of the house and at the front of the house, and there's a gate. And I started to paint it one day, and it was sat in the baking sun thinking, no, it's no good for this. So a Thai person spent 10 days stripping all the paint off and repainting it. He didn't do a perfect job, but I don't think many Thai people do perfect jobs over here. It's not in their nature. So anyway, 85% happy with it. 10 days, 3,000 baht. I supplied all the materials and things like that. So it's not worth me sitting in the baking sun all day doing that. But little bits of electrical work. I love electrics. I used to be an electrician in England as well. So I do all my own electrics. I've been doing me solar panels and or solar emergency backup, and I'm still working on that. So that's like work in progress. But I love playing around with the house and doing stuff because I'm a hands-on gadgety type of person. Doing me internet so I'm doing my YouTube, and I've got one or two other things that's going on, and I'm going to do another video about making money in Thailand. There's a lot of people asking how they can make money in Thailand. Now I've done a few things. I'm going to do a video on that anyway about working in Thailand, how you can do it. Nothing's been too successful yet, but it's early stages. But all of these gurus say you can do this, you can do that, earn 10,000. It's never $100 a month or $200. It's always thousands of dollars a month, isn't it? Well, it's a load of BS. And in the video, I'm going to go through the load of BS and what it actually is and how it works. But that's another video to come. But I'm sure there'll be plenty of people interested in that. And I can see it working, but it's going to be a long time, and it's not going to be like that overnight, like the gurus tell you it's going to be. I mean, I make on this channel about $100 a month. And by the time I pay me subscriptions for various bits and pieces, I probably come out with $50 a month. So it's a lot of work for $50 a month, but I enjoy it, and it keeps me busy and it keeps me going at it. So anyway, that was a long answer to how's my Sunday going, wasn't it? Farang travels. The average wage surely is close to 1,000 baht these days. Well, officially it's 300 baht, 350 baht, and he's trying to put it up to 400 baht by Christmas time or the New Year. Now, the guys that I know that have got foreigners in, that have got Thai people in to do some work, they're all charging, say, 1,000 baht a day. I want 1,000 baht, 1,000 baht. Another guy that I know wanted the outside of his house painting, and maybe it's 3 days with two guys, and they were going to charge him 30,000 baht for 2 days' work for painting the outside of the house. Maybe it's 3 days' work, so 10,000 baht a day for two people. That's a lot of money. So some of the Thai people can still be a little bit cheeky, but some other Thai people are well worth the money. But I've got to say, the Thai workers that I've had in the 7 years that I've been in this house, I wouldn't recommend any of them to go and work in anybody else's house, because they haven't been good, they've been poor, they've been sloppy, they haven't done what they said they're going to do. So, like the fence, 85% happy. There's bits of rust coming through now, so I'll just paint that and repaint it. I've got the abrasive wheel, so I'll repaint it and do it as and when I can. So anyway, 300 or 400 baht a day it's supposed to be. Hi Les, do you know what happened to the American lady you helped? They're on YouTube and she has disappeared. Yes, she has disappeared, sadly. Yeah, I do know a little bit more to the story, but she got trolled and she got some abusive messages, and she decided that she doesn't need that in her retirement years. So she just came off YouTube and decided to live a life without YouTube. So sad, because she was almost at 1,000 subscribers. When I first met Kelly, when she came over here, she had, I think, about 120 subscribers. And when she was on the cruise coming back to Thailand, she had over 1,000. Now I've sent her some best wishes, good luck, and hope your life improves or whatever. It is what you want it to be, and all I've got is a thanks from her. So I give her best wishes. I hope she succeeds. I hope she gets what she wants. But sadly, the trolls won, Kelly 0, and that's why she stopped it, because she got trolled. So sad, but she had a really, really good way of thinking with regard to coming over here. Seems bonkers to me that the Thai government would tax for rangs. Coming on to that, me tax. I've got me little bit of paper around here. So I've got my slant on the tax. I'm not a tax expert, but I'm going to give my little opinion and give you my penny's worth. But hang on, let me finish reading. Brings millions of local economies already. Biting the hand that feeds you springs to mind. Now I'm going to come on to that. That's very good, because you're exactly right in what you're saying. John the accountant's in. Now he's the man. He's the accountant. He can tell you, or can add a little bit to what I'm going to say, because there's some things I'm not a tax expert. But I've had several questions on it. What do I know? And I can only do what you do. I can look at other videos and look at other people, but here's my slant on it. I think it was a knee-jerk reaction to catch the people that are the wealthy people, and it's always the wealthy people, isn't it? Always the wealthy people who are slagging everybody off with tax and things like that, and don't tax me but tax them. It's the same in England. The elite, who is he now? Jeremy Hunt is going to give a tax break to the wealthy in the next few weeks. He's already signalled there's going to be tax breaks for the wealthy, but the working class, not at all. So anyway, in Thailand, it's exactly the same. The wealthy that are over here screwing the tax system, and the government wanted to recoup the taxes. Not a bad idea. But one net catches all, and it catches the people even that shouldn't be paying tax. And I think what's happened is the fact that he's cast the net out and he's dragged the other people in. And shockingly and surprisingly, it's all those expats that are already living here paying tax. There's nothing cast in concrete yet with regard to what's going to happen. I watched an interview at the Expats Club in Pattaya, and one of Thailand's top tax experts doesn't even know what's going on. So if he doesn't know what's going on, then nobody knows what's going on. And he says basically it's impossible to implement the laws in January. He seems to think that it's going to be postponed. There will be some tax implications for everybody, more paperwork to fill out with regard to tax agreements that there already is with other countries. In a nutshell, before I go into my ranting and raving about this and my facts and my figures and how you look upon it and how they might look upon it, is that basically, in a nutshell, if you're already paying tax in your own country, you've got nothing to worry about. If you're paying taxes on your pensions, you might have to prove it when you get your visas next year or in 2025, but it's just going to be another piece of paper. The admin to all of this lot is going to be horrendous. So anyway, here's my little slant of it about knee-jerk reaction, and I've got some figures here that I'm going to go through. Now, I'll try to go through it and leave it as brief as possible. But this is potentially going to cost Thailand billions of baht because of their greed, and they're like, I want a short amount of money quick, but I'm going to get it as quick as I can. I'll just wait until this street seller's gone by because he's got his microphone on. Got some fruit. Anybody want some fruit? 60 baht a kilo. Don't know what fruit it is. Okay, here we go. I'm going to use an average of, I'm on 60,000 baht a month. So it would be difficult for me to implement what I'm going to suggest on 60,000. And would it be worth it or would it be not? But where it becomes viable is for those people that are on 100,000 baht a month. So 100,000 baht a month in British pounds is 2,283. And in euros, 2,608, US dollars, 2,844, and Australian dollars, 4,371. Now, if they are going to tax that amount, and I'm going to use this amount, so I'll round it up and down, so we're not all into pounds and pence or whatever. But if they're going to tax, nobody knows yet how much they're going to tax people for, whether it's going to be 5% or whether it's going to be 35%. That's the tax range that they're going to do it. So let's just say 10%. Let's just say they're going to tax you at 10% of the income that you bring over here. So somebody on 100,000 baht a month, that's 1.2 million. So they're going to tax them 120,000 baht out of that. Now, I don't know, and John the accountant will put his penny's worth in here, like, if you're over here for 180 days, then you're classed as a resident here, then you have to pay your tax. Now, what if you only stayed here 7 months or 8 months? Are you liable for the full 12 months? Nobody knows this yet. And this is one of the questions that's going to be. But there's a workaround this lot. And the guy that was at the Expats Club talking about it, there's workarounds actually going on now. They're forward thinking of what it might be, how much it might be. And there's already workarounds, the system. Now, this is the clever people who deal with money all the time. This is their workaround. And if you claim your pension from Hong Kong, it's zero tax. And the Thai government can't tax your pension if it's coming from Hong Kong. That's sort of the drift that I got from that. But anyway, my workaround for this, right? So if you're going to pay 1.2 million baht in tax, why do you want to stay here for the full 12 months? So if you go live somewhere else for 6 months of the year, so you've got 120,000 baht to pay for accommodation because your living costs are just the same. You're still going to spend the same amount of money for eating. You're still going to spend the same amount of money for entertainment and things like that. The only difference is that if you stay here for the 12 months, you're 120,000 baht down. But if you go and live somewhere else, there's 60,000 baht. So in effect, by you not staying here, the money that you would give to the tax people over here in Thailand is paying for your holiday. So I would sooner pay that amount of money on a holiday, and you don't have to go for a 6 month stretch, do a 2 month on, 2 month here, 2 months somewhere else, 2 months here over the year, rather than paying the tax. But that's the worst case scenario. So do you get my drift? 100,000 baht, you can do it, and it's worthwhile doing it. And even at 60,000 baht for me, I'd be tempted to do it every 2 months. Drop my wife off at home at the farm or something like that, and I'll have 2 months traveling because I love me traveling, rather than paying the tax people the money. If my wife wants to come with me, she can come with me. I'll go to Vietnam, I'll go to Cambodia, I'll go to Laos, I'll go to Malaysia. There are so many options because it's cheap to fly somewhere like that. And within 2 months of staying somewhere, you don't need to have a visas. It's so cheap to fly out anywhere from here. So I would do that. So what are the government losing because of that? So to gain 120,000 baht they would lose 600,000 baht. So they would lose 480,000 baht in lost revenue being spent here in Thailand. So when the bean counters and the number crunchers work all this lot out, this is why I think they'll just say, forget about it. That's what my fingers are crossed. That's what I'm thinking. And anybody in the rational thinking of mind thinking, if you're going to frighten people away, we're going to lose money. And that's my serious thinking of my workarounds with regard to the tax people here. So if you think the workaround is a good way of doing it, give me a thumbs up. I've got 9 thumbs up, so I'll see how many people like the idea, and give me a thumbs down if you don't like the idea. But I have the same workaround or a similar workaround for pensions, because the pensions get frozen here. So you can actually get your pension rise in a reciprocal country, in the nearest reciprocal. This is UK pension, by the way. And your reciprocal place here is the Philippines. So you only need to live 185 days in the Philippines and you get your full pension rise. And that's for the rest of your life. And as last year was 10.1 and next year is going to be 8.7. In them 2 years, you've got an 18% rise. So that makes the figures a lot better for you to go and live in the Philippines for 6 months. And you might not have had a pension rise for 5, 6, 7 years. So it is well worth doing that. And the government are going to pay it because it's your money at the end of the day. 14 thumbs up. Thanks very much for that. So anyway, I've been concentrating on this and I've missed the chat down in the far. There's the problem I am finding with the UK people is not forward-thinking planning regarding income tax and the state pension. Good afternoon, D.U. Nissan. Good morning. Good afternoon, Les. Nice about your channel, Les. I've never seen trolls in here. No, I don't really get bothered by the trolls. You know, thankfully, I'm not asking for trolls and that. But again, there's a simple button. You just press the button and, you know, the channel's hidden from them. Hopefully I'm fair. I don't give any BS. So I have had the occasional troll message and that, but that's the part of putting your face on YouTube. I don't think they, you know, with regards to, this law has been here for 34 years, I think. I've heard that many stories. It's an old tax law, but they're trying to, because there's many Thai people who avoid paying tax, and it's them people that they want at the end of the day. But as I say, they've cast the net out and they've got the small fish as well, which is creating a lot of trouble. And the only people that's making money out of this at the minute are the lawyers and the tax experts who are saying, yeah, I'll give you some advice. But at the minute, don't go and see them, because all they're going to turn around and say, and charge you money for it, say, just wait and see. So the tax is a big thing. It's going to frighten more people away than who wants to come to live in Thailand if they realise that they're going to have to pay tax. They'll go and live somewhere else, as I would do. And I will seriously consider going living in Vietnam and Cambodia for 6 months, 3 months in Cambodia, 3 months in Vietnam. That's be 2 holidays a year, but big holidays. So there's ways around it, unless you really want to stay here. So, okay. So that's that talk. Yeah, I mean, John the accountant, as I say, people, I didn't really plan John, to be fair. My pension that I get from the fire brigade, when I joined the fire brigade at 19, they said you retire at 50, and a pension to a 19-year-old to a 50-year-old is, that's miles away. So, and it's only now that I've actually retired. I couldn't afford to live on my fire brigade pension in England, but living in Thailand on my fire brigade pension is more than enough, and I have a good lifestyle here on that. So I would say for those people who are struggling with the money, with the income or what they have, look at a country that's got a, you know, more sustainable lifestyle for the money that you've got. And there are plenty of countries about. Greed equates to Thailand. I am planning just under 6 months for 5 years, then full time. But there goes the plan. No, I wouldn't say it's destroyed the plan. I mean, look at our government in England. Richie Sunak, I read somewhere, I'm sure I've read somewhere in the 1 year that he's been the Prime Minister, there's 25 stealth taxes that's appeared. The UK is the highest taxed country. Well, we're paying the highest tax since World War II. And the Conservatives are supposed to be a party of low taxes. Can you see it going anywhere but north? Taxes are going to increase because of everything that we have to pay. You know, the pockets are empty, so they have to fill it up, and it's the normal working people who will end up paying the bill. But that's my bugbear with England. I watch the news and I see it, and you just see the hypocrisy of it all. The snouts are in the trough. With David Cameron coming back, he's as bent as a 9-bob note. He's made so many mistakes and corrupt deals with other people. He's in there for a reason, and they made him a lord so he can actually come back into the Conservative Party. Anyway, I don't want to talk down. I don't want to be glass half empty, because my glass is always half full. Mr. Mitch, good afternoon, ladies. Apologies for the late arrival. Yeah, okay. Remain after school and write on the board 100 times, I must not be late again. I must not be late again. You should know better, Mr. Mitch. Thanks very much for joining us. We've got 48 in the house today, which is very, very good. And I haven't even really started yet. I've had my little rant about me tax, so any of those people that have missed that little rant, have a look at the replay. Me personally, I don't think, if you're a normal guy here on a normal pension, or your 401k, where it is from America, and you're already paying tax, you ain't got nothing to worry about. And it's just all the bluff and bluster which is going on. And other people making clickbait videos that, oh, you're going to pay this, you're going to pay that. Like I always say, cross that bridge when you come to it. There's workarounds already being planned about it. The elite people avoid paying tax because they've got the money to pay the people. And there will be ways and means of how you can avoid paying tax over in this country as well. So do I worry about it? Not one little bit. I read the comments and I see the bluff and bluster going on. What'll happen, will happen. Have a plan if something goes P-shaped or P-tong, and you can do something about it. There's always a workaround. You know, you don't have to pay tax. You can go and live in another country for 6 months of the year. I'm quite looking forward to living in Vietnam and Cambodia if I have to do, because my living costs are just the same, except the money I'd pay the tax, that money will go towards paying for a hotel. And I'd sooner pay for a hotel than pay the tax man. Anyway, would staying in the Philippines make your pension for life? Yeah, staying in the Philippines as a UK pensioner, I'd get the rises, because the Philippines is a reciprocal country. If you hang on, let me read that one again. Would staying in the Philippines make your pension for life? My understanding is that you would bring it up to the current amount and then be frozen again. I talked to the horse's mouth. I talked to the forward pensions department in Newcastle, and they said if I moved to the Philippines for 185 days, my pension from day one is increased to the highest level. And as long as I stay there for 185 days, and I return back to Thailand, my pension would stay at the highest rate. That's what they told me. I've had one other person say that was wrong, but to be fair, I've never contacted the pensions department again, because that was the information that their top pensions expert told me. Because I said to him, I did a YouTube channel, and this is where I was trying to find out. This is what I want to know. And the top guy that told me that was the top guy at the pensions department in Newcastle. So I don't doubt what he has to say, but this other guy said I was wrong. But the people to ask are the Futures Pensions Department. Now, the way I think about it, the way I look upon it, if I move back to England for 6 months or whatever, I'm going to get the full rise as well anyway. And because how can they turn around and say, well, if you move back to Thailand, oh, we're going to drop you down again? If they're going to give you the full rate and there's a cut-off date, 185 days, and as long as it's in the reciprocal country, why are they going to cut it? Because if I move back to UK and I said I'm going to stay here for the rest of my life, and I lived there for a year, and I decided to move again, what they're going to say? Oh, we're going to cut your pension back again because you've moved, because you aren't living here full time. I don't know, but the futures pensions, I've done a video on it with regard to doing the reciprocal agreements in the Philippines. And like I say, for those people who've had no rise for the past maybe 3 or 4 years, I saw with next year's increase, it's going to be over 20%. So that works out the figures for your transport to the Philippines, your accommodation, your things like that. On the video, I think that at the time, this is with last year's rise, the payback time was 2 years. And after 2 years, you were in profit because that's what paid for the holiday, your transportation, your living accommodation and your flights and things like that, 2 years. Now, next year, with the 8.7% rise, that might drop it down to a year and a half. So it's worth crunching the numbers. It's worth having a look at, because then you're getting a holiday in the Philippines for 6 months anyway. I mean, I'm still 3 years away from getting my full pension, but I would seriously think of doing that. So, like I said, there are many ways of looking upon it. It's just playing around with different numbers. Retired on the beach, yeah, they like putting up prices for Falang. Yeah, but is it actually that? Is it that much of a deal, really? I don't think it is. I mean, we're tourists. Tourists get ripped off no matter where they are in the world. Taxi drivers rip people off in London as well, So everybody, foreigners pay as the tourist pays, no matter where you are. But it's not exorbitantly high, is it? And if it is exorbitantly high, then you just move to another place. Me and the wife went to a restaurant on Koh Samet Island, and there was two menus, and I'm looking, and I can see a little bit of Thai. I don't know much, but for a coffee on the English menu and a coffee on the Thai menu was 10 baht different. And if you look at everything, there was a 10 baht different. So I asked the wife, I said, is that the same menu? And she said, yeah. And the Thai menu was 10 baht per item cheaper. So we just got up and walked out because it was an obvious dual pricing. We just went somewhere else. So you don't have to spend your money in the places that ripping you off. Just go and find somewhere else that's reasonable. And them are the places to go to. And I think that the word will get around eventually. Don't rip off the foreigners. As somebody said earlier on, don't bite the hand that feeds you. At the fines in the UK as tax, a total rip-off. The higher the rates of tax, the more I save client. Yep. Now, when I did my tax, this is aimed at John. When I did my electrical business, it took me a long time before I actually went and started paying taxes. I tried to avoid it as long as possible. And then once I actually got my own company set up as an electrician, the accountant saved me more than I was trying to save in the first place. So accountants, a good accountant, is worth the salt, that you pay. They are very, very good for saving money. That's why the rich and the wealthy pay for the accountants, because they save more than what it's going to cost them to save the money. They're very, very clever at saving money. So again, don't be afraid of using the accountant. If the tax thing comes into play in Thailand, there'll be plenty of work for the tax people, I'm sure. But the government could do away with it because it's going to frighten more people off than it's going to attract, I'm sure. Yeah, John's coming up with various other things. UK has the lowest state pension in Europe. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we're very, very We're very, very poor. And just something came through my mind there. I thought I heard the phone ring. Something came through my mind. The ladies of the night in Pattaya are also aware who gets the best pension, because there's three things. Hello, what's your name? Where are you from? And what's your name? Obviously, Bob Smith. Where are you from? I'm from England. So they know England, the pension isn't very good. The Americans' pensions are a little bit better. The Europeans' pensions are a little bit better. But somebody from Norway, ka-ching, their pension in Sweden and Switzerland, their pension's very good. So it's worth them spending more time to them, because they know they get a better pension. When they find out that you're a pensioner and you're retired and you're living on your pension. So the girls, just ask any Thai girl in Pattaya who's the best paid pensioners, and they'll tell you. But that's from years ago. Years ago, I found that out. Okay, Bill, cricket. Okay, go and watch the World Cup. I hope who you're batting for wins. Thanks very much for joining us. No problem. Go and enjoy your cricket. The Philippines has a reciprocating agreement with the UK, so your pension increases. That's correct, yes. Your pension increases every year with the living in the Philippines. That's the one big advantage. And it's a 70-year-old law in England which stops us from getting our pension. There's over 500,000 people around the world don't get the pension rises because of this 70-year-old agreement. And there's been several attempts at trying to get it changed. And the government say, okay, we'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow. And there's a online petition, and it says if they get over 100,000 signatures, then they can bring it up as a parliamentary question. And when I added my signature, I was 5,100 and something. So they're a long, long way off the 100,000 signatures required before it even gets brought up as a question in Parliament. So in reality, is the government going to change and give us pensioners who paid into the system but living in a different country, if they can avoid paying it, they're going to avoid paying it. The government are just like that. They want your money. I still pay tax on my pension in England, but I'm entitled to nothing from it. So, Mr. Mitch, that's why I always say I'm from Norway. Yeah, but your lady drinks will go up to 200 baht then as well, not 150 baht, if you say you're from Norway. Because if you're from Norway, you can afford to pay it. Should remember the tsunami of COVID, the recession, etc. Treat Farang's finances equal to millions, and we'll go to the other countries. Yeah, that's from saying short-sightedness. The guy, I'm sure, has been castigated with regard to even mentioning what was going to go home by casting his net. He thought he was doing good. I'm going to bring all of this extra money into Thailand, because there is a lot of tax fiddling going on, and in reality, it was the Thai people that were making millions of baht abroad, keeping it outside of Thailand for a year, and then a year later bringing it in, and they paid zero tax. But that happens all the way around the world. So, I can't blame those people who want to save tax. Nobody wants to pay tax. Nobody wants to pay any money. So I'm not blaming anybody. But the tax companies or the tax people want their, because everywhere is suffering. But with the tax agreements already in place with most countries, I don't think we've got anything to worry about. Okay, right. What time is it now? 4:38. Now that's 40 minutes almost. We've talked about the tax issue now. So yeah, I hope everybody liked my workaround for the tax. It's not all doom and gloom. There's ways, and there's a silver lining to everything. And my glass is always half full. And I never look at the doom and gloom. I just look at other options. What other options have you got to do? And I would sooner spend my money having a holiday than giving it to the Thai tax authority. And I will go vote for the holiday every single time. Okay. Rich Chola, thanks for your videos. I moved here in October, got my long-term visa, got a condo in Jumpjum, have the car, a motorbike license and health insurance. Good. So you've got all your ducks in a row. Fantastic. And that's what you can do over here. It's preparation and planning prevents PP performance. It's like everything. I spent a long time planning what I was going to do when I retired, and I traveled the world for 2 years. And I've got to say, traveling the world for 2 years, the people I met opened my eyes, and they opened my eyes massively, because when I seen what other people did, I'm thinking, I can do that. I can do that. And I've never looked back. And there's always solutions to every single problem. No matter where you are in the world, there's a solution to everybody. Yeah, Chancellor Jeremy Hunt does not rule out income tax cuts in the autumn statement next week on Wednesday. He's going to give a tax break to the wealthy people again. The poor people get nothing. That's just flashed up on the BBC News. So yeah, there's a solution to every single problem. No matter what you have, there's a solution. And it's just having the workaround and being able to do it. And that's where I provide solutions. I'm a great thinker about outside the box with my workarounds for your visas, where you don't have to pay a visa agent, my workarounds for your pensions, that you can go and have a holiday at the expense of the taxpayer, or not the expense, the expense of the tax department in the UK, because you're using your money. You're actually using your own money to pay for your holidays. So workarounds for everything. So good for that. You've got everything, your visas, your insurance, motorbike, car. Brilliant. Have a go now. Seeing you, Les. Mr. Who, thanks very much for joining. Much appreciated. Currently on an American government pensions and non-taxable in America and Thailand. Yeah, it's Thailand has got a tax agreement with a lot of countries, and every one of them is different. So there's sort of no rule that covers everybody or everything. What these tax experts reckon are going to be happening is, a part of your filling for your visa, you're going to have to show proof that the income that you have received has already been taxed in your home country. And you give an example. For instance, if you were on 100,000 baht, how was it 100,000? If you had $100,000 and you in a bank in America, and you made $10,000 in bonuses, in interest payments or wherever, and you brought that $10,000 to Thailand, you will be taxed on that, even though you paid the tax off the interest in your bank, because it's classed as untaxable income or something like that. But he said you will be taxed on that amount of money. So also, if you sold your house in America or England or Australia or wherever, and you brought all of that money to Thailand, you've made some money. You've made money on that. So potentially they could tax you on that money, which is just ridiculous. There's other people who are saying about you can draw your money out every month through your ATM card. Now, the banks are going to keep an eye on ATM withdrawals and things like that. So potentially you could draw 100,000 baht a month out of ATMs. But there's also a red flag system that the bank would set up and say that you're drawing money out through ATM, so they will cancel your card or stop your card and investigate. And then you'd be investigated by the Thai authorities also. So if you're going to do it legally, if it's going to happen. So we've got sucked back into the tax agreement again. Sorry. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah. So basically, if you're taxed in your own country, my belief is that, because I've listened to many other videos, I've watched other videos, maybe it's about 4 or 5 hours of different opinions from tax experts and things like that. And this is what I've gathered. I'm not a tax expert at all, but this is what I've gathered. Basically, if you're paying tax already in your home country, don't even worry about it. Tax and politics, I'm off. Retired on the beach. I'm going to talk about something else now. So I'm not going to talk about tax. We've had 40 minutes of that, so I'm going to go on to other things as well. But yeah, I can understand the beach is more interesting than tax, that's for sure. Hi, Les. Once you return to the Thailand after staying in the Philippines, your pension would increase to the highest amount. Yes, it would. But would you get further increases, or would it would be frozen again? So the minute you left the Philippines, it would be frozen at that level, because you have to inform the tax authority that you've moved back to Thailand or wherever. So yes, it would be frozen again. So now going on different subject on my list here. Lots of people are asking for like some examples for because I did my cost of living video, and my cost of living video. Okay, let's talk about prices of cars over here. Prices of cars, how you can buy a car without getting a finance from the garage, because you need a Thai person to be able to buy a car to sign up for the finance agreement. Now there are a number of companies, and my first car that I bought from here, I bought it on a rent-to-buy basis. And okay, the car costs you a little bit of money and you're paying interest on that. But that's a way of buying a car without actually getting a Thai guarantor. You pay a little bit more for it, but it's like everything else. If you haven't got the finances to be able to buy something cash, then you're always going to have to pay a little bit more. So you can buy a car or a motorbike. There's several companies, well, there's lots of companies that are doing it now. Buy to or rent to buy. And then once you've bought it, once you've paid your last payment, the car or the motorbike becomes yours. So that's a way of being able to buy a car over here in Thailand. And the insurance, I mean, my car now is 4 years old and it's valued at 300, because I've just got the insurance quote last week. And my car is valued at 310,000, and the insurance for that fully comprehensive is 6,560 baht, something like that. So 6,500, and that pays for the compulsory insurance as well. So it's not expensive to insure your cars here. For tyres, I've done just over 55,000 kilometers in the car now in 4 years, and I need 2 new tyres at the front. So I was always a fan of Bridgestone, because they had Bridgestone when I first got the car, and I thought, okay, Bridgestones are good. So I looked at Bridgestone, and they were over 3,000 baht per tyre. And I thought, wow, that's expensive. So, I only need 2. And they said, we'll give you a discount if you get 4. And I thought, well, I don't need 4, because the 2 on the back will last for another 10,000 kilometers, I'm sure. So I only wanted 2. So that was going to cost me 7,000 baht for 2 new Bridgestone tyres. And I come back and I looked at the website looking at tyres, and Dunlop are a good make, as is Michelin. So Dunlop, for the same size tyres, was 1,800. So 3,600 as opposed to almost 7,000 baht for 2 Bridgestone. So I got the Dunlop tyres. So I don't know how much it would cost you in your home country, but tyre is a tyre. And Dunlop, there's no cheap makes. Well, sorry, there is cheap makes of tyres here. But I wanted a quality tyre, Dunlop, Michelin, Bridgestone. And I came out with Dunlop. And I'm more than happy with it. In and out within 10 minutes. So the cost of everything here, motorbike tyre, I need a new motorbike tyre for my motorbike, the rear tyre. Now, Ploy Samlaw, she had a puncture, And when I had a look at the puncture, and I said, "Oh, you need a new tyre because the tyre's kaput." So we took it to the garage, 400 baht, which is about £9 for a new tyre for a motorbike. So I'm going to go and get a new tyre tomorrow for my motorbike, £9 to get it. She had a new tyre put on and the brake serviced, and it cost £9. Living over here. Okay, let's have a look, see where else. Hi, Les. Once you return to the Philippines, we've done that. Walk this way. Finance options are good in Thailand. I mean, it's like we bought this house on a rent to buy basis as well, on a private finance, and there are other people who are selling properties, selling houses, that if you can pay it off for maybe 4 or 5 years, they will accept a rent to buy that you can buy the property. There are many ways. Sort of Thailand is open to anything and everything. I mean, when I bought this house, we've had this now for almost 2 years, and I was 61 when I bought the house, and I never thought I'm never ever going to get a mortgage or a loan at 61-year-old. But hey ho, here we go, and we're buying this house on a rent to buy basis. So our rent here was 12,000, and we're paying a little bit more now, but after a certain amount of years, the house becomes ours. And you've sort of got to make the deal attractive. And what we did, we said, if for any reason we stop paying or we walk away, or we, for instance, if me employee ever split up, then I'd just walk away, and the landlady gets whatever payments we paid to the house. And so it's a win-win situation. So she's never going to lose the house. She's always going to get a little bit more money than she would do for rental anyway. So win-win situation. So there's deals like that all over in Thailand. You can even, like I say, buy the car on a rent-to-buy system. You can buy almost everything here on a rent-to-buy system. Let's have a look. Ever thought about tyre rotation Yep, I did tyre rotation because I took the car in every time we got it serviced. They did the tyre rotation, and it just so happened that when I looked at the tyres, the 2 front tyres were coming up to the little indicator bars to say they needed changing, and the 2 back tyres were okay. So at the time, I think, well, okay, I'll get a bit more use out of the back tyres. So that's what I did. At 1,800, 3,007, so 7,000 baht, I could have had 4 Dunlop tyres. But I thought, no, I'll make the 2 back tyres last for our next holiday, and I'll put 2 new back tyres on next year. So we always got the car serviced by Nissan, because the prices of getting the car is about 5,000 or 6,000 baht to get your car serviced here. So it's not expensive at all. Whereas in England, I took it to one of my cars to a Ford garage, and it cost me £70 just to put it on the analyzer, just for them to check what was wrong with the car. Crazy. Highlights. Regarding your solution for 100,000 Thai baht, it depends on how much you have to pay the tax advisor, accountant, to save 120,000 Thai baht. How much? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's not a perfect solution. If a tax advisor, I mean, it's not going to cost an awful lot of money for them to be able to recommend how you can save that amount of money, but that's using a tax advisor. But I'm thinking outside of the box if I didn't want to pay a tax advisor. And there's so many anomalies here about when you're going to pay, how you're going to pay. If you live here 8 months, if you live here 9 months, if you live here 7 months, is the tax going to be different? So it's always going to be different. So every individual case is going to merit how it's going to be. I live here full time, so I would seriously look at going on holiday out of that situation. But if it only cost me, say, even 10,000 baht to save, because I would, if you tax mine at 10%, that's 60,000 baht I'd have to pay. So 60,000 baht or something. Yeah. So I'd pay 10,000 to save 60,000 to an accountant. So yeah, every individual. That's what I'm saying. The tax people are going to be overwhelmed with foreigners trying to save money, and I think a lot of this is to do with the Ruskies. The Ruskies have caused all sorts of problems here, because the Ruskies, how much money are they bringing in? And they're not paying any tax. They're buying properties and not paying any taxes. So, and hopefully we should have some little bit better news in the next weeks to come. They're on about changing the visa rules to giving us at least 60 days as opposed to 30 days, because the Russians get 90 days at present. Now, I don't know whether they get a 90-day extension as well, but even at 90 days, so they just have to fly out to Cambodia or Vietnam or something and fly back and they get another 90 days. So the Russians are sort of being given a little bit of a dispensation, but why the Thai people are bending over backwards for the Russians, I don't know. Because as far as the landlords, and the bar owners, they don't like the Russians because there's very, very few of them actually drink and sit in the bars. The Russians are causing problems in Phuket with their estate agents and their taxis, and so they're bending the rules pretty much in Phuket, and I think the law will come down heavily on them at some time. But the minute they get 90 days and we still get 30, so fingers crossed we're going to get an increase into maybe 60 days. Fingers crossed. Land banking is a bit busy in Australia, same as Russians doing in Thailand. Yeah, there's some very, very clever Russian people as well. When the war started, they could see it was going to last for a long time, and they came over and they did 5-year deals on renting properties. So they got a good deal because they've said we'll rent it off you for 5 years. So they have got cheap houses that they rent out now to the Russians at double, treble the price what they paid for it. So they're making money from doing it. But I take my hat off to them because for planning and stuff like that. Now I actually know a Russian guy living in Rayong. He's only a young lad, 22-year-old. He didn't want to be conscripted, so he's living over here, so he doesn't get conscripted into war. And he's living a very, very minimalistic life, but he loves it because he's got 90 days and he just flies out and he flies back in. His parents are quite wealthy in Russia, so they don't want their son to go to war either. So they give him a minimal allowance to live on here in Thailand, and he does live on a minimal amount. But his English over the past 6 months has improved tremendously because not many people speak Russian in Rayong, so he's had to learn English. Right. What province do you live in? I live in Rayong province. And so we're about an hour and a half away from Pattaya, 3 hours away from Bangkok. And for me, it's the perfect location. Now, we've just done a video. I don't know whether you've watched it or whether you haven't, but it's got a good view, and that's a price comparison as to how much I spend here. 60,000 baht a month I living here. It used to be 3 years ago 50,000, but now it's 60,000. But it's only really gone up because I'm paying buying this house on a rent to buy. We're buying the house, so that's why I were living 60,000. Could I save money on that? Of course I can. In reality, my wife has got her own house up in Karat. Now it's a beautiful house, 2-bedroom house in the village location, and it's spectacularly beautiful living up there. But there's no other foreigners in the village. Now I could live there for almost, well, I would say 30,000 baht a month. I could live there because there's no mortgage to pay, there's no rent to pay. Food in the village is very, very cheap. So in reality, I could live there for 30,000 baht a month if I wanted to. but I don't want to because I'd miss the sea. I love this lifestyle that we have here. And if I lived with my wife at the farm, she would be expected to work at the farm because, you know, she's the daughter of a mum and dad. They just wouldn't like to see her. So she wouldn't have the same lifestyle she has here if we lived at the farm. She'd be up at 5 o'clock every morning working on the farm. And I would say, like, every 6 weeks, I needed 2 weeks away as a holiday because the isolation would do my head in, that was for sure. So that's why I chose not to live at the farm. And where we live, we have a good lifestyle here. And an affordable lifestyle. Yeah, 60,000 is a nice budget to live on. Yeah, it is. You know, I'm very lucky that, you know, we can live on that. Again, we're not bar people, so we don't go at the bars very often. We just live a normal life, but I live in a beautiful location. And as I say, why would I want to look at that hammock there? You know, I've got a hammock there. I've got the sofa there. We live sort of 90% outside the house, which is stunningly beautiful. You know, the running cost of living here is very, very cheap. So when I say 60,000, it's probably about 55 because the money that I spend on my projects, such as the solar panels and things like that. Now, some people do give me some money on Super Chat, or if I do the $10 consultation for an hour. So any money that I make off that goes towards, you know, the solar panels and doing stuff around the house, so I can make a video on it. So that's how I pay for me little bits of extras, and any money that we save out of the budget of 60,000 goes towards that, goes towards the gardens, go towards the fruit trees and things like that. And we're going away for Christmas. We're going 9 days away. And the money's already saved up for that because we've saved a little bit every month to pay for that. So our eating costs and going out costs are just the same when we go on holiday as it is for like living here. Maybe it's a little bit more because we're going to be eating out twice a day. But if you plan for it and budget, it's a cheap and affordable place to live. Now, I know a guy who likes his alcohol and he's in the bars every night. And he has a lady friend come visit him once a week to help him out, if you like. And he lives on £800 a month because that's all he gets of his state pension, £800 a month. And he's coming up to 70 years old now. And he has a more enjoyable life here than he would have in the UK. And he's a sociable guy anyway. He doesn't drink a lot, but he's in the bars every night. And he's got a good social group of friends. That's how he chooses to live, and that's what he wants to do. So that's his lifestyle if he wants to do that. So, all right. What are the key attractions of Rayong? Key attractions of Rayong. Okay, where do we start? It's a very affordable place to live. It is an hour and a half away from Pattaya. It is 3 hours away from Bangkok, centre of Bangkok, 2.5 hours away from the airport. We have a beautiful, stunning Koh Samet Island, 30 minutes away from where I live. The housing costs here are very reasonable because it's not in a tourist location. Everything is not tourist prices. You don't get ripped off because people are not going to try to rip you off here because it's not a big touristy location. The people are nice. It's surrounded by lots of couples and expats with their Thai wives and that. We've got a good social life here. We have a number of friends that we go around drinking around their houses, and they come to our house, you know, X, Y, and Z. That's what we do. We have a brunch club that we have every week. We put the world to right every week. There's anywhere between 6 and 12 of us that get together once a week and have something to eat. We've got a beach, nice beach, 5 minutes drive away from where we are. That's about it, really. But there's still many more places to see. You know, we have an aquarium. There's plenty of places to see. we're from the centre of Rayong, where you can have all the shops that you want, and foreigner food, if you want foreigner food in the shopping malls, that's 45 minutes. So when we do our shopping, there's two places we go do our shopping, and we're 15 minutes away from a Macro and Lotus. So everything's handy, and the peacefulness, the tranquility and the quietness, no crime. I've lived here for 7 years, and the only crime we've had in our village, somebody at one stage stole some bananas, and the police found them within 2 or 3 days. So that is my list of why I live in Rayong. I should become an agent, shouldn't I? Well, I actually am, because I do have a number of properties that we have up for rent. So when people ask me looking around houses, our landlady, she's got about 10 houses in the location where we are, and over various times of the year, people come and go. So there's always sort of a bit of a interest in people relocating to Rayong and looking at houses. And their houses are absolutely top notch. And again, they're between 10 and 18,000 baht a month. I have another guy who's got 2 houses for rent. One's got a swimming pool, and that's 22,000 baht a month, and the other one's 15,000. And again, like 5 minutes drive to a nice beach. So the prices of rental properties here are very, very affordable. So yeah, that's my key reasons for living in Rayong. Village life is great. Thanks for your insight. Yeah, village life is great. But I'd feel lonely, I think, if I lived in a village. If you don't have, I mean, I have a group of people, and we put the world to rights when we do our brunch club type of thing, and we go around people's houses. But for me, that in Ploy's village, there isn't any foreigners whatsoever. There's about 120 people, and I would be the only foreigner in the village. And the next village is maybe 20 kilometers away, something like that. Whether there's any English-speaking people there or not, I don't know. I have a friend that I talk to here that is feeling that at the minute, feeling isolated and feeling a little bit lonely now, because he lives with his wife, and certain parts of her family are living there. So there's about 6 or 7 people living in the same house, and he's feeling isolated now because they're all talking Thai. He still can't understand Thai or speak Thai. So he's sort of left. She's happy because he's giving her money to live there, and he's renovated the house. So she's over the moon. But her family are there. So she has the conversation with their family, and he's sat looking at the internet or the TV. And again, he's the only foreigner in the village. So at the beginning of his time spending in Thailand, he loved it. But now he's feeling a little bit isolated, and he's feeling there's got to be more to life than sat in the house watching the TV all the time. I'm living in Bansan Chonburi for 1.5 years, but haven't visited Rayong. I visited Trat. I would visit Rayong soon. Yeah, Trat's nice. We stayed a couple of nights in Trat. But it's Trat, everybody just goes to Koh Chang when they go to in the Trat region. Very few people stay in Trat because the biggest attraction is Koh Chang or Koh Kud. Or I think there's another little island, but that's where we're going for Christmas, is Koh Kud, an island next to Koh Chang. So I'm looking forward to it. I sort of worked there for a few months in Koh Kud, and I loved it. It's a beautiful, beautiful little island. Get everywhere, get to see everywhere on a little scooter. So we're going there for 9 days anyway, and I can't wait for Christmas and New Year. A rental agent gets for his services a month's rent. Yeah. I don't do it for the money. I do it because I can help other people out, and sometimes they'll give me a little contribution towards helping them out. But by putting it onto YouTube, it also gives me content as well. And trying to put content onto YouTube all the time sometimes can be difficult, because when you think of it, that every man and his dog are talking about the same thing here. It's like my video, the living costs in Thailand. At the last count, I had over 4,000 views on it, which was absolutely fantastic for me, because normally I get between 600 and 1,000 views over the month or so. So for 8,500 subscribers, I still don't actually get a lot of views in comparison to somebody else talking about the best place to get a beef burger or the best place to go for a massage in Pattaya. Now, the Pattaya lifestyle is a totally different lifestyle to what I live here in Thailand. I look outside the box, workarounds for visas and things like that. So I'm like an information channel. But if you want to go find the best massage place in Soy 6, there's other channels that you want to go and see. But I could tell you a good massage place in Soy 6, because I've been there, seen it, done it in my younger days. I did Pattaya. I lived in Jomtien for 2 years and I loved it. But it's a different lifestyle. And we still even take people around Pattaya. You know, if they come over here and they don't know the score, you know, and they've paid for our hotel for a couple of nights, and we've sort of held their hands, took them around Pattaya, so they know they don't get. You only need somebody to show you around for a couple of days, and then you know what the score is, and it's easy peasy. But if you don't know in the first place, then it can be difficult. So yeah, having lived here for almost 12 years now, it will be 12 years on December the 31st. And it was quite funny, really, how I come here for New Year. Is that me and my Chinese wife at the time, back in England, going through a bit of a hard time, and on Boxing Day, she said, Les, we need to have a talk. I was going to divorce you on New Year's Day, because we met on a New Year's Eve. So she said, I was going to divorce you on the New Year's Eve. And I said, you're joking? She said, yeah. And this was like Boxing Day. I said, well, okay. I said, I'll save you the trouble. I said, we'll get divorced now then. So I drove to Southampton, which was 7 hours away from Redcar, where we were staying, got all the stuff, give her all of the stuff. And I sort of did a 14-hour round trip, because I was so angry and agitated. So I drove from Redcar to Southampton, got all the stuff, drove back to Redcar, dropped the stuff off, and then I stayed at a friend's house. But 14 hours driving, and then I drove back to Southampton, give the keys in for the flat, and I ended up in Thailand on New Year's Eve 12 years ago. So every New Year's Eve is celebrated, because that was the start of my new life here in Thailand. And I've got no regrets, and I've loved it ever since. And Thailand is a wonderful place to live. I really like your retirement home. Can you make more of this kind of video? Yes, I can. Yeah, I mean, I do all sorts of things. I've done videos on like my backup system for me solar with the water filters. There's other things that we can do. You know, I've done all sorts of videos really with you know, around the house type of thing. I'm a practical guy, so there's always some, but it doesn't really seem to get an awful lot of views with, you know, anything that I do around the house type of thing. The solar, I think, is still under 1,000 views on the solar, but yet it is so affordable to do a backup system, because here in Thailand the electricity, pardon me, is on and off all the time. And the reason why I thought I'm going to do a backup system is that this year the power went off for 3 hours during the hot season, and we had no fans and we had nothing. And my wife, to cool down, went under. We have a town supply of water, and she went and had a shower outside with the town's water from the hose pipe just to cool down. I think, I don't want to live like this. So that's when we said, right, okay, I'm going to do something as a backup. So for less than 10,000 baht, we've got an emergency backup system that lasts for 4 or 5 hours with the TV, the internet, and a couple of fans or something like that. And if the electric goes off during the night, both fans will run for 10 hours on the system that I've got. So, you know, for not a lot, how much would you pay to put a fan on when you're absolutely boiling hot? So I've done that. Like the water system, the water pipe work, that was all over that. Thai workmanship was shocking and atrocious, and it was just something needed to be done about it. Now I could have got a Thai guy and done it all, told him what to do, but no, I wanted to do it myself, so I've done it myself. But it's because I'm a practical guy, you know. I like playing around. How did you learn to speak Thai? I never have really spoken good Thai. A few of my friends think they can speak Thai, but they can't. And it's so difficult to understand Thai. Well, to try and speak Thai. My wife speaks very, very, very good English. So I got her to try and teach me Thai. And she's telling me Thai words and I'm saying it. And she said, no, it's not correct. Her pronunciation of words is very, very, very good. And she said, my pronunciation of Thai words isn't very good. So she said, I can understand what you're saying because I've told you how to say it and what it is. But she said, you tried to say that to some Thai person and they won't know. Now, I'll give you some examples. A couple of friends of mine, their girlfriends can't speak English very good at all. So they've had to learn sort of pidgin Thai just to get a bit of a conversation out with them. But they're trying to impress my wife when they come round to try and speak Thai. And my wife said to them, listen, I can understand your English better than I can understand your Thai. Your Thai isn't good at all. She's blunt with them. She's totally and utterly blunt with them. And they're sort of a little bit, oh. Now I take my hat off to them for trying to learn Thai. But I've seen it with my own eyes, is that we've been to restaurants and they've tried to speak Thai and they're waiting, what? And they look at Ploy, and then Ploy has to tell them what he wants. And he said, why can't they understand? Because she said, you don't speak very good Thai. So that's why I've stopped trying to learn Thai, because for me, I just can't pronounce the words and it's so difficult to do. But that's my excuse. But I take my hat off to those people who can speak Thai and fluent Thai, which is very, very good. I know a few words, but it's not enough to get by. I've travelled through Rayong to get to Koh Chang Island, and it seems a nice place. Yeah, I mean, usually the stop at Ban Phe. If you're coming from Pattaya, it's sort of like midway. So they'll stop halfway, and at Ban Phe, the 7-Eleven in the shop. But there's nothing special here. You know, there's nothing touristy that people would come to Rayong for. It's just sort of a nondescript, but it's quite a big city, Rayong city, and it's quite affluent because there's an oil industry and chemical industry we live about 25 kilometers away from the oil industry and things like that. So we're far enough away from it. But yeah, for me, it's just value for money. There's nothing expensive here. You can get meals here for, 50 or 60 baht. When we go for our brunch, I like Penang curry. It's probably one of my favorite Thai dishes. Penang curry with rice and a bottle of soda water, 200 baht in a nice restaurant. So 200 baht, what's that? About $5 or something like that. So it's not expensive. In the restaurants, the restaurants close by here, you can go to a buffet where you can eat as much as you want, and that's 199 baht, so 200 baht for eat as much as you want. You cook it yourself, mind you, but that's what I'm saying. It's so cheap to live here. And it's in Thailand. If you want to pay the high prices, go and live in a tourist location such as Phuket or Koh Samui. And my view on that is that Stunning it may be, but after a certain amount of time, you get used to that stunning location and it becomes the norm. Whereas here, if I go to Phuket, I appreciate the stunning beauty of Phuket or Koh Samui. But I come back to Rayong and it's just the normal place. But I sort of live in a holiday location because we have Koh Samet just over the water, which is 30 minutes away from here. So it, swings and roundabouts at the end of the day. Where I lived in Redcar wasn't the best place in the world, but within 30 or 45 minutes, you're on the beautiful North York Moors, and there's, 2 hours, you're a Whitby. So, something's popped up on the computer. So, I mean, it swings and roundabouts. Find your place. Rayong wasn't on my radar for places to live, but once I visited here for 2 weeks, I've been here for 12 years. Right, what else have we got? Great job on the water and the backup power, mate. Thanks very much. That's what I did this morning. I've finished off all that gravelled area now, so it looks amazing in comparison to what it was. I'm going to do a video next week with I don't know whether you remember the big concrete tank that was there. It just looked ugly, and it probably took me a year and a half to do everything, but we're almost there now. Well, we are there now because I've finished it off this morning. I've travelled because only thing with Thailand water and electricity supply, not the most reliable. No, it isn't. But we get 20 litres of water in the big jugs, and that's 15 baht for 20 litres of water that's drinkable. So that's actually cheap. And because we've got the filtration system, you would never, ever, ever drink Thai water anyway. So as long as it's filtered enough for your showers and washing the pots and having, we don't even use that water for cooking. So it's just for having a shower, the toilets, and washing the pots and washing the clothes. So just a bit of a filtration system to get rid of, because we're literally 200 meters away from the water source, from the lakes, from where we live. I mean, our house is called Lake Home, and we do overlook several lakes, and that's where we get the water. But because we're very, very early from the pumping station, we do get a lot of the green stuff that gets through their filters. So, yeah, it didn't cost me a lot of money to do it, but it looks better than what it was. The electricity supply comes and goes. It's not the most reliable, but I've got to say in the past year, it hasn't been too bad. I think we've only had maybe 2 or 3 power outages in the last 6 months or so. In fact, since I got my battery backup system 2 months ago, we've never had a power cut. As the wife moving to Udon early next year, what's your point of view? Marriage versus retirement visa? I'll get the agent to help me. Okay, the marriage visa or the retirement visa? The retirement visa is the easiest visa to get by far, and but the marriage visa, there's an awful lot of paperwork to do, and the agent can do both, but it'll still be cheaper to get a retirement visa with an agent than it would to get a marriage visa with an agent. Now, the advantages of the marriage visa compared to the retirement visa is that if you want to go through the lump sum in the bank method, it's 800,000 for your retirement visa, and on your marriage visa you only have to have 400,000 in the bank. Or the income method, 65,000 for the retirement and 40,000 a month for the marriage visa. So I'm on the marriage visa, and I think personally, this is my own point of view of it, is that if you're married to a Thai, you might have a few more rights if they change the law at any time because you're married to a Thai person. And they're a little bit more lenient if you're going to be doing a little bit of work. And with a retirement visa, you can't do any work whatsoever because it's a retirement visa. Whereas a marriage visa, you can do a little bit of work, but you still need a visa for it. So swings and roundabouts. The best part of it for me was that I only have to show 40,000 in the bank with my income method, because when we were together, I needed to show 65,000. Well, we lived on 50,000 baht at the time, so I had to put 15,000 baht a month extra, and that's why I say about the recycle method. If you want to prove payments going into your Thai bank account, use the recycle method. So that's why, well, and also the security. That's why I got married to my wife as well, because my fire brigade pension, if I died without being married, it's just absorbed and nobody gets anything from it. Whereas if I've got a wife, my wife gets my retirement pension for the rest of her life, which is, again, taking care of the person that I care for the most. And she's a fantastic girl. And so now she takes care of me, I take care of her, and she's got a pension for the rest of her life. So win-win situation. So yeah, if you want an easy visa, get a retirement visa. If you want a little bit more difficult visa, get the marriage visa. But swings and roundabouts for both. But I've got to say, it's not too difficult to do both of them without using an agent. An agent, I don't know how much an agent would charge for a marriage visa, but for a retirement visa, without showing any forms of income or without putting the money in the bank, there's people I know that have used the agents, and the cheapest is 25,000, and the most expensive that I've seen is 39,000 for exactly the same visa, and using different agents in Pattaya. So that's a huge difference. 29 if you want the exact same service, 29 in one agent and 39 in another. And that involves getting your visa, which sort of lasts for 15 months. So you get a 90-day before, then you get your year visa, and they open up a bank account for you. So that's 29,000 in one place and 39,000 in another. So guess which one gets the most work? So, but that's the agents in Pattaya. So yeah, agents are there. They'll always be there. People say, well, what happened? The brown envelopes that are moving around, agents are always going to be here in Thailand. So is it legal? Yes, because the agents will tell you it so. But there's other ways and means of doing it without using an agent that, for my mind, my workarounds are more legal than using an agent, and it doesn't take much work to get that done. Right. So anyway, good luck with your moving to Udon Thani. I've only ever been to Udon Thani twice. Just passed through because I had a friend of mine who built a house a little bit past us, about 30 kilometers north of Udon Thani. And he doesn't live there anymore now. He's moved back to Australia. But a stunningly beautiful house. But everything went a little bit pear-shaped, and he's now back in Australia. Any of the steak restaurants near you, not the best, but reasonable price, where I am in Chaiphom. Yeah, steak. I'm not a steak eater. So there is one place run by a French guy who's renowned for his steaks being very, very good quality, Mocha. But he's a French guy. And we went there twice for a steak, and it was wasted on me. The other guys, best steak in Thailand. And I'm just thinking, okay, it's what it is. So sorry to say, a good steak is wasted on me. So I don't eat steak, and I wouldn't know a good steak or a bad steak. I'm a chicken and a pork man. And you can do chicken and pork in many, many different ways. And the only beef I eat is a beef burger, and that's from McDonald's. So, but a McDonald's for me now is a treat if I have a McDonald's, because there isn't a McDonald's near me. And sometimes, just a couple of times I've been in the Rayong and think, oh, McDonald's. So I'll have a McDonald's because it's so few and far between. But how could you think that a McDonald's is a nice meal? Because I love the Thai food anyway, so I have many, many good Thai meals here. Thanks for that, Les. I think I'll go for the marriage visa. Well, so the marriage visa is a lot of paperwork to do, but once you've cracked it, this is our 5th year now with our marriage visa, and the first year we were in and out immigration 6 times, and she kept saying, she's a bit of a pain in the backside, our immigration officer anyway. Nobody likes her. She's renowned for causing trouble. And this was the first year that we went in, and we were like, yeah, first time ever. We've got all the paperwork sorted. She hasn't asked for anything extra. We've cracked it. We've done it. And then she came back into the office because I'd forgot my 90 days slip. So she went on the computer. She got annoyed that I didn't have my 90-day slip of paper with me, but she went and checked it on the computer anyway. And then she come back, and then she had to go at my wife that with the marriage visa, you've got to give 12 months bank statements. And I did that, but she complained that my bank book wasn't up to date. It didn't have the same amount of updates as given her the 12-month statements, even though the 12-month statement shows every single transaction. We live 15 kilometers away from the bank. We pay everything online. We never go into the bank. So it's an effort to go and get it updated. But she told my wife off last year, and she told my wife off again this year, that I must get my bank book updated at least every 2 months. So, okay. And the landlady, when she signed one of the pieces of paper, she signed it. She signed it in black ink, and it should have been blue ink. So that's what we got told off for this year, that I didn't update my bank book enough, and the landlady signed a document with black ink instead of blue. So it's, no matter what paperwork they ask for, it's never too much. Just have a smile, okay, because once you've got your visa, it's 11 months of trouble-free living here. Do your 90 days. You can do your 90 days online as well, which takes 5 minutes. Easy peasy. Yeah, I've got to go. Now thank you, Les. I've got to go. Lunch, Jump Jam or Rayong works for me. Okay, go and enjoy your lunch. Thanks very much for joining me. Yeah, Jump Jam is nice. I lived there for 2 years, and it's a nice place to live. But Rayong is a little bit further outside the madness. Okay, where else are we? Only use an agent. Yeah, you can use an agent for the first year. And then once you've got your visa, then you have the time. You can have the time when you first came if you put all your ducks in a row and you do your research and you can do all the paperwork and you can do everything in 30 days if you get your ducks in a row. But you can get a 30-day extension. So in reality, you can do everything here in the 60 days without any fear or any worry. You can do it all yourself, apart from opening a bank account, which is difficult. But you can pay an agent to do that, 4,500 baht. He'll open a bank account. Because over here, it's like a chicken and egg situation. You can't have a retirement visa unless you've got a bank account. You can't have a bank account unless you've got a retirement visa. So pay an agent, 4,500. He'll get you the bank account. Once you got the bank account opened, it opens a lot more doors. So yeah, use an agent for the first year. Put your 65,000 baht into your bank account coming from overseas every month, and then you can do it on the income method the following year. Not difficult at all. But if you have the 800,000 baht, there's no need to use an agent at all. It's one of the easiest visas you can get, having the 800,000 baht. It's not difficult. I never understood why people go to the restaurant for a grilled steak. It's not exactly difficult to cook. Beef for a steak is about 350 baht per kilo in Thailand from the market. Again, as my wife doesn't eat beef, and I have never eaten beef here. We never go and buy beef, so I can live without it. Even when I do my keto chili con carne, I use pork mince. I don't use beef mince. So it's either pork or chicken, and that's what we live on here, and that's good enough for us. Keto. I'm back on the keto diet, by the way. For those people who followed any of my keto diets, I lost 20 kilos on the keto diet, and I love the diet because for me it's one of the easiest diets to stick to. Now, once we're going away for Christmas, I want to lose 10 kilo before we go on holiday, so I can eat and drink as much as what I want whilst I'm on holiday, because every year, Christmas and New Year, I do like my food and I always put weight on. So this year I'm going to lose it before I put it back on. So, but keto diet over here in Thailand, trying to get keto at the restaurant is very, very difficult because they just load everything with sugar, put sugar in everything. So now when I go to the restaurants, there's only certain meals that I'll eat, and basically salads, tuna salads. They can't put much sugar on a tuna salad, or mince and basil, things like that. So swings and roundabouts. But the Thai food is lovely. Up here in Norway, Thai food served at restaurants and loaded with sugar. Yeah, I'm just saying there, yeah, Thai food is just loaded with sugars. When my wife cooks me Thai food here, she cooks the main of it, and then she'll put half of it in the pan, that's for me, and she'll put my little sweetener sugars in there, which is 0-calorie sugars. And that helps. The sweetness is there, but the calories aren't there. Let's have a look. I have a few cheap steak restaurants run by Thais. Good for a treat now and then. Yeah, if you like steak, you like steak. To be honest, I've managed to save £250,000 in my pension pot, but I'll have to leave that here in England and just draw out the money as and when I need it. Yeah, leaving your money in England is always going to be the safe option, because in England, I think you're insured if the bank goes bust, £85,000. In Thailand, you're only covered for 1 million baht, and then anything after 1 million. And if you've got the 800,000 in the bank for your visa, then you're almost at the 1 million baht anyway. So yeah, keep your money at home. That's why lots of people don't put the 800,000 baht in the bank, because it can disappear. Well, when I say if something went wrong, you could end up losing that type of thing. Especially when there's other ways of doing it, like the income method, 65,000. When all's said and done, you need some money to live on every month anyway. So why not use that, the income that you're spending, use that to put into your bank account to show that you're living on 65,000 baht a month. If I had the money, I wouldn't put 800,000 baht in the bank here at all. But I don't have the money, so I can't do that anyway. But for those people that are, say, 65 to 70 and struggling for medical insurance, then that 800,000 baht can benefit you in two ways. Because one, you can have it as an emergency backup for your medical needs if you need to go to the hospital, and two, it gives you your retirement visa, no strings attached, and it's the easiest and the best way to do it. So that's what I suggest to people, 65 to 70-year-old who maybe has got 1 or 2 health issues. Use your 800,000 baht for two things: for your medical insurance as a backup, and also use it for getting your visa. Easy peasy. That's what I'm saying. There's more ways to skin a cat living in Thailand than it's just thinking outside of the box and making best use of the things that you've got. Did you get the visit from the immigration place to get your marriage visit? Yes. The guy, the same guy's been here for 3 years now, so he knows, and he's in and out in less than 10 minutes. We have our next door neighbour come down, and she shows her ID card, sign the form, we get a picture of everybody, and off he goes. But we've had the visit every year for 5 years, and some people have just had a video call, and what you walk around the house showing a video of the house that you're living in. But we've always had the guy come round in his police car, immigration, here 5 or 10 minutes, and he's gone. He doesn't even, we give him a bottle of water or something or a drink, and he never even touches it. But yeah, that's part and parcel, But they don't. There's all sorts of tales where they look in the wardrobe, look in the drawers and things like that. The guy just comes, sits out on this sofa with us, and we fill out, we have a table and chairs there, fill out the paperwork there, and he's never even set foot in the house. So, apart from a photograph, we get a photograph inside the house, photograph outside the house, and a photograph over that way towards where the address is. So yeah, that's what we do. We do that. Oh, my wife's back early. What time is it? 5:39. My wife works on the weekend selling sausages on the beachfront. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go move the car so she can get. So give me 2 minutes. I'll go move the car and I shall be back. 2 minutes. That's it, back. Yeah, my wife, she sells sausages on the seafront on a Saturday and Sunday. She has a chat with lots of Thai people, as she does. I do my videos and do my little bits and pieces on the weekend, so it works both ways. She earns a little bit of pocket money, extra pocket money on the weekend. I get to do the things that I want to do, and we spend the rest of the week together. Because we never go anywhere on the weekend anyway, because no matter where you go, if you go to the shopping mall or you go on holidays or whatever, it's more expensive on the weekend. So weekends for us to do what we want to do. So anyway, sorry about the couple of minutes to move the car, because my wife can't drive the car, but she said she's going to go learn the car to drive the car next year or something, and she's going to do that. Everything all right, Ply? Yeah, I've got it here. Stop the light from falling over. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so she can't reverse the car out. So I reverse the car out so she can get the motorbike and Sam Lauren. So, yeah. It'd be nice when she learns to drive the car. One day, but not today. She's a very tired teddy today. She was up early this morning, and so, yeah. she makes 300 or 400 baht a day. That's a lot. But the fact that she can sit and chat and put the world to right with other Thai people, because we always speak English in this house, so we live 24/7, and it's just nice. It's like us, our English speaking type of thing. When we go for our brunch, we'll put the world to right, and my wife does that, puts the world to right with the Thai people when she goes sell sausages on the weekend. It's having that balance, you know, and it works for us, and I'm sure there's other people do the same thing. Right, let's have a look, see what people have been putting in. Yeah, we've got the visits from the immigration. Main thing now seems to be getting a bank account, which they have made it harder. I was looking to get one, but easier to get agent to do it now. Yeah, that's because, although it's, you know, not official, the Russians have been laundering money. The Russians have been bringing money over here on the tourist visas. So now, in an effort to try and make things a little bit more difficult, if you're on a tourist visa, you can't open a bank account, but you still can because the visa agents can do that. And it's not a lot of money. There's some people who walk around and saying, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to walk around and like 10 or 12 banks, and then they'll go and use an agent to go and open the bank account for them. I've got an American friend of mine at the minute, he's trying to do that. And I'm telling him, you can't do it. You can't do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'll go to every bank until they say yes. And he's still walking around the banks. And I've told him the agent that will go and do it. 4,500 baht, and it's open the same day. So, anyway. But just listen to the people. It is difficult to do. So using an agent, it saves all of that walking around and the no, you can't have it, no, you can't have it, no, you can't have it. Do it, pay it one time, 4,500 baht, and it's done then, isn't it? Because you'll need a bank account open if you want to get a visa anyway. Hi Les, do you like JomTM to live? Yes, I would there. Hello Scott. JomTM, beautiful. JomTM is a nice place to live because it's just far enough away from the Pattaya madness. It's reasonably priced. There's plenty of things going on in JomTM. The beach is nicer than the Pattaya beach. There's some nice eating restaurants in JomTM. It's still got a bar scene, but nowhere near like it is in Pattaya. And it's a BART bus route into Pattaya. 20 minutes, 10 baht to get into Pattaya, 20 baht to get back from Pattaya to JomTM. As long as you get an apartment on the BART bus route. If you go to Prattam Hill, it's much more difficult because then you have to walk to get the BART bus. And then if you get dropped off at the BART bus, then it's a long walk back to your hotel. So that's why the apartments and condos are much cheaper on Prattam Hill than a lot of other parts of JomTM, especially if they're not on the BART bus route. So yeah, you won't go wrong with JomTM. Go and fill your boots in JomTM and enjoy. I'll get a beer in Sydney. I lived in Sydney. Well, I didn't. We went on holiday to Australia for 3 months, and we lived in Sydney for 5 weeks of the 3 months. Wow, was that so expensive? We lived in King's Cross in a hostel, and during the week between Christmas and New Year, we were paying £120, $240 per night to stay in a hostel in King's Cross in Sydney. But I love Sydney. I just loved it. But it was a very, very expensive place to be. How much is the car insurance in Thailand, Liz? Yeah, well, you might have missed it earlier on, but my car is 4 years old. It's valued at 310,000 because I've just got the insurance quote, and we just reinsured it as from the 16th, which is a couple of days ago, and that was 6,550 baht, 6,500 and something, maybe 6,600, something like that. And that's fully comprehensive with the compulsory Thai insurance as well. So yeah, fully comprehensive with that. And that isn't for a main dealer to fix it if something went wrong. it's for a registered garage. So, and that's just for me to drive. But if somebody else drives it and they have an accident, then there's another 8,000 baht fee to pay for that because it's an excess. And I've got a 5,000 baht excess on that as well. So that's why it's 6,000, less than 6,600, fully comprehensive, which is, I think, reasonably priced because I paid that when I rented it. Well, I rented it, rephrase this. I borrowed a friend's car when I went back to England for a month, and I paid £160 to insure that car for a month. 160 quid to hire to rent this car, so I was insured for a month. Crazy. Prices in England is through the roof. Got example photos in our immigration office for a marriage visa. Yeah, but sometimes even with a marriage visa, I filled all the paperwork in and given what they were asking for, but the immigration officer can ask for more, as they did with us. So you just smile and give them what they want. Les, we're going to build a bungalow on a plot of land that my wife owns. It will take 8 months to complete. In the meantime, we live in my wife's family. Will this be a problem with a visa? No, not at all. You can live wherever you want with a visa. You just fill out your TM30, or the people that you're living with will have to fill out a form to say that, you know, as an alien, I like that phrase, as an alien, you're living with these people and they give you permission to live with them. It's no problem whatsoever. Good luck with the house build. Get a reputable builder, get somebody to build the house that has been recommended by somebody else. Everybody that I know on here, and I've talked to many people, have had problems with builders, they say they can do everything, but in reality, no, they can't. There's many building horror stories here in Thailand. So get a proper company, pay a little bit more, get quality workmanship, get a reliable builder. Sadly to say, if your wife says, oh, me Uncle Bob or me Auntie Jane, they'll come and do it because they've built houses before. Get a company in, because if you also get family and friends to build the house and you're not happy with the standard of work, it causes friction again with the family. So I wouldn't, me personally, this is experience from other people, do not get family members to build the house. If you get a company, if you have an argument with them, the company walks away. But if it's a family member, you're always going to have an argument. There's always going to be some friction there. So don't start off in Thailand with friction with the family. It's easy to open a bank account if you have money. Yes and no. You know, if you've got the 800,000 to put in a bank account, they're a little bit more receptive. But if you just want to open the bank account with 5,000 or 6,000 baht, they're less likely to do it. They will also try to sell you insurance as well, you know, accident insurance and things like that. In fact, in the last 6 months, I've never met anybody. Nobody's ever conversed with me and said, I walked into a bank with a tourist visa and I opened it up, no problem. And the banks of choice for the visas, for the visa agents, is the Bangkok Bank. If you have a bank account with Kasikorn Bank, they will try and persuade you to open up the bank account with the Bangkok Bank. Whether the agents get a kickback from that or not, I don't know. But that's the news that I hear of everybody. Bangkok Bank. If you're going to open a bank in Thailand, make sure it's a Bangkok Bank. Land of Smiles is housed for tourists who are giving away easy visas to anyone. Land of Smiles is hard up. Well, Land of Smiles is hard up, but as I said, that they're looking at trying to recoup the money by taxing people. It's hard up for money, but it isn't easy to give visas away. And they're not giving visas to anybody. they're more favourable to the Russians than they are anybody else. But I wouldn't say it's any easier. Thank you, Les, for your advice. Father was from Cornwall. I've been down to Cornwall, nice part of the world. So you're welcome. As long as you get value from it, that's brilliant. You know, so and anybody, you know, that gets information off me. Noisy little motorbike. I tell you how it is. I don't give any BS. If I can't give you the answer, I'll send you to the people who can give you the answer. Hi, Les. How much are your mortgage payments? And if you are separated with your wife, who gets the house? Okay, the mortgage payments, it's a rent to buy scheme that we've got. And if I walk away from the house, the landlady gets the house back. That's sort of the agreement that we've got, that if there's any problems whatsoever, and that's the biggest problem, that, you know, people always say here that, you know, if you buy the house and it's in your Thai wife's name, you're going to lose it. And that's correct. But there are methods here that you can safeguard buying a house here in Thailand. The only people who lose money are foolish people who don't take precautions and don't do anything about it. Now, my thing is here, because it's a rent to buy, so we're paying a little bit more than what we would be paying for rent. And if anything goes wrong with me, I play and we argue and I walk away. She's one of the most beautiful people in the world. I'd be a fool to walk away from Ploy. She's as honest as the day is long, reliable, trustworthy, everything. More than I can say for my last 3 wives. So there's no plans on me leaving her. But if it did happen, then I'll just walk away. The wife doesn't get the house because the house isn't finished paid for. And the landlady would get the house back because that was the agreement that we got in the when we set to buy the house off her. And unless my wife can come up with whatever money we left to pay the house for, she isn't going to get it either. And I can guarantee she isn't going to get that amount of money to pay the house off. She might get it in the final year that we're together. She'd be able to scrape enough money to pay for the last payments for the year or so. But no, for me, I'm 90% safe that I'm not going to lose the house. And if we did split up, all I've lost is the difference between the rent and the loan amount that we were paying. And that's not an awful lot of money to lose, because if I rented the house, I would have lost that money anyway. So there's different ways people can look at it. But I would say, if you're going to buy a house and you've got the cash, get it on a finance deal if you can. And then if any trouble happens, you just walk away and you've still got that money. But if you pay for it cash, you've always got the chance of losing it. But you can still make precautions or do precautions that you won't lose it at all. Consult a lawyer. As much as I hate lawyers, sometimes that they have their methods and ways of being able to do things. You can protect your investment here. Les, what does your wife do with the 15,000 baht you give her every month? She does whatever she likes with it. It's up to her. I never ask her what she does with it. I know what she does with it, because we've discussed what we're going to do with it. But when all's said and done, it's up to her. You know, if I can explain it this way, my other wives never worked. So how did they buy the clothes? They came and asked me for the money. How did they pay for trips? They came and asked me for the money. So it was always me who had to pay anyway. I didn't want my wife to work when I had the kids. So I had to earn extra money. But who bought her clothes? Who bought her food? Who bought her makeup? Who bought her things? Me. So for me, I look upon it, it's the same situation here. I don't want my wife to work. My wife has responsibility. She's got a son. She's got a family. She's got a mum and dad. She's got her own bills to pay because of the house up in Karat. So she has expenses. She doesn't go to work. So I compensate her that she doesn't go to work. So we can go, at the click of my fingers, go on our holidays tomorrow. if she was working, she can't do that. So she does what she wants to do with the money that she wants to do it. And I have no qualms about that whatsoever. You know, fair. Do I want it? Les, I need a new pair of shoes. Okay, I'll jiggle in my pocket. There's your money for your shoes. She's beholden to me then. That's just having a slave. So, but I've done a video on that, whether you should pay, whether you shouldn't pay, and my arguments for and against all of that lot. So have a look through my videos and have a look through that. It's quite an interesting video. There are many different views on this, whether you should pay, whether you shouldn't pay. And it's up to you at the end of the day. Live with what you can feel comfortable with yourself. If you want a slave and give her nothing, then have a slave. And the relationship won't last for very long at all. Everybody needs money here. There's no free money. Everybody here has to work. Everybody here has debts. Everybody here has responsibilities. Everybody needs to earn some money one way or another. And you, by saying, don't give your wife anything. And I know a couple of guys that don't give the wives anything because their relationship isn't a very good relationship, put it like that. Because of money laundering concerns, they have made it a lot harder to get the bank account. Got mine okay, and found some banks won't even entertain you. I was looking to get a second bank account when it was good. Yeah, and it's the Russians. The Russians have got a little bit of blame for that because they've caused the problems. And, you know, the fear of money laundering, which is going on in America, in Phuket. You know, the Russians are bringing a lot of dirty money over here. Hi, Les. Nice to see you. Thanks very much, Veronica. I've learned to make my own Cumberland sausages and bacon because on my many visits to Oud and Tani, I can't get a decent sausage I love for money. Yeah, when I used to run a coffee shop, and we used to do breakfast. Boy, was it hard to get sausages and proper bacon. And when you get your breakfast, your English breakfast in Pattaya, which is sort of every 100 yards, you can get an English breakfast. And there's some places that you get a beautiful, massive breakfast for 140 baht. We used to charge 160 baht for a breakfast in our coffee shop. It was nothing like what you could get in Pattaya because for the price of the bacon and the sausages, you just couldn't match them prices. And you couldn't get the sausages from Rayong. You had to order them from Pattaya, and then the delivery costs on top of it and things like that. So we always struggle to give value for money for a breakfast. Sometimes our breakfast, we only made 10 or 15 baht on a breakfast. So, but we made money doing other things. But yeah, Macro now sell reasonably priced bacon and sausages, herbal sausages, which is very, very nice. Not the broccoli herbal, the nice sausages, herbal sausages. They used to sell Cumberland sausages here, but they were £1.20 per sausage. So that's just stupidly priced. £1.20 for one Cumberland sausage. So no. So anyway, good for you for making your own sausages and bacon. How do I book a consultation regarding your visa methods and some other advice while planning? Just send me an email. I'll write my email down here. Send me an email and we'll do a face-to-face WhatsApp chat. There's prison 58. Yahoo. Come. Just send me an email there and we'll arrange a time. And it's $10. I charge $10 because it might be an hour, it might be 3 hours, and it's still the same price, $10. And you only pay if you get the information you want. If you don't get the information you want, you don't pay the $10. It's a win-win situation, and you don't pay the $10 until after the consultation. So even if you didn't want to pay, there's nothing I can do about it. I just trust that the information I give is useful, and it's, you know, And I've never, ever failed yet to give people the information that they want on ways and means of doing it. And legal. I never tell anybody to do anything illegal when I have a chat with them. It's always legal and above board. It might bend the rules a little bit, but Thailand lives in a bend the rules society. So as in Rome, do as the Romans do. And so the advice that I give is 100% pucker and reliable and 100% trustworthy, and you won't get into trouble for it. So thanks for asking. Just send me an email and we'll arrange a chat as and when you want. Had no trouble getting a bank account, but heard from a few people that they have made it a lot harder. Yeah, it's a lot harder now. It's been maybe 6 or 7 months, and it is a lot harder. Hello from Norway. It must be getting very cold and dark in Norway now. Do you know anybody lives in Laos and is a good place to live from? I don't know. I've never been to Laos. The only person I know that's been to Laos is Paddy Doyle. Paddy Doyle is a fantastic guy. He's visited all 77 provinces of Thailand, and he's done videos and vlogs. He's very, very entertaining, and he's done a few videos on Laos, and it looks nice enough that we will be planning a visit to Laos in the next year or 2 years for a week or 2 weeks. So, yeah, I don't know anybody personally, but I've heard it's a stunningly beautiful place. It's a lot more backwards than it is in Thailand. So you might struggle with the language and the money and things like that, but it's an adventure. You know, it's totally different. It's out of the box. So I would go and visit Laos, no problem. Cold and wet and red car. What's your take on the tourist numbers at the moment in Pattaya? Are they down or about right? I don't really know, because as I said, because we don't live in Pattaya, but I have heard through various people that I know in Pattaya, the numbers are down. In fact, the numbers are down in the whole of Thailand. Thailand at the beginning of the year said, oh yeah, we're on for record numbers coming back to Thailand, but the numbers are down. And with their stupid knee-jerk reactions with the tax and things like that, the numbers are going to be down even more because of what they say, what they're offering. And as a foreigner thinking about retiring in Thailand, at the end of the day, you've got to put the brakes on, thinking, oh, if they're going to tax my money that's coming into Thailand, you know, it's going to give me less money every month to live on. So there's other places that you can go and live. And, you know, the visa processes are much easier than they are in Thailand. So they've sort of, in my mind, shot themselves in the foot with even mentioning about taxing people who want to stay here full time. Crazy. But we'll see what happens. I just think it's a knee-jerk reaction, full of bluff and bluster at the minute, and hopefully they'll see the light of day and resolve everything and make the tourists or make retired people feel welcome here, make them feel valued here. And when all said and done, I give them 60,000 baht of my money here every single month, and I get nothing for it apart from living in a beautiful location. And I've got to say, it's worth spending 60,000 baht a month here. Now, if they take 10, I'm saying 10% because their taxes anywhere from 5% up to 35%, even if they take 6,000 baht, which is 10% to me, 60,000 a month, that would be very tempting for me just to say, okay, every couple of months I'm going to go away on a holiday because I don't want to give the government 12,000 baht of my pension and get nothing for it. I'd sooner spend 12,000 baht and put a little bit extra to it and go and have a holiday. This is the fear I think the Thai government have got to look at. How much they're going to lose compared to how much they're going to benefit if they do away with the tax. But I spoke for 45 minutes on this right at the beginning of the program. So that's my view. I don't think anybody's got anything to worry about. There might be a few more paperwork things to fill out when you do your retirement visa. But for me, listening to all the people that I've listened to, and I've listened to quite a few, if you already pay tax in your own country, you've got nothing to worry about. Just a bit more paperwork. Hi Les, how much do you make off the social media and YouTube and merchandise? About $100 a month I make off my YouTube channel. But by the time I pay for my subscriptions and things like that, I'll probably come out with about $50 a month. My merchandise, if anybody wants to buy a cup, Retired and Living the Dream cup, 300 baht, but I can only send to Thailand because the postal service refused to send it anywhere else around the world. So 300 baht for including postage anywhere in Thailand. The merchandise, I was going to sell t-shirts like this, but it's far too expensive to post from here to anywhere in the world. So I can only do it to Thailand, and I've said, forget about it. But I am going to do a video, funny enough, it's in the pipework, about how to make money in Thailand whilst you're living here. I've done many things over the past year. This video has taken over a year to do, and I'm going to explain the things that I've done, whether it's worked or whether it hasn't worked. Is it going to work or isn't it going to work? Because people are always asking ways of being able to make money here in Thailand. And there are a number of ways to do it, but I've got to say, as a spoiler alert, it's not easy to do. And there are many people on the internet, even in Thailand, selling snake oil. Give me this amount of money and I'll tell you how to make money in Thailand. I'm not going to charge anybody any money to tell them how they can make money here in Thailand. I'm going to show them what I do, and I'm going to ask for their support, but it involves just a subscription or something like that. Subscribe, which is free anyway, on the things that I do, and even to look at the things I'm going to explain in the video. And it's up to you whether you want to do it, but there are so many things on YouTube at the minute. Make $10,000 a month, make $20,000 a month, make a 7-figure income. There's not one says make $200 a month, $200 or $300. It's always thousands of dollars a month. And I've done a little bit of research, and I've even bought a couple of the programs to see how they work, and it's crap. They're just selling you a dream, and it's almost 90% impossible to do it. But the video is going to go through it a little bit more clear than what I'm just saying over here. But making money on the internet and YouTube isn't easy at all. 8,500 subscribers I've got. I don't get the many views as some of the other YouTubers get. I mean, for telling you about buying a beef burger in Pattaya, something like that can get maybe 7,000 or 8,000, 9,000 views. You know, I do a video and I might get up to 1,000 views. So maybe my channel isn't as interesting. I should tell you where you can get a nice beef burger from in Rayong or something. Anyway, horses for courses, different channels, the Pattaya vloggers certainly get a lot more views because it's the sex industry in Pattaya, and people are a lot more interested in that than retired living in the countryside. Anyway, that's my little rant over. So I was looking at buying a second-hand cable car in Udantani, and I couldn't believe how expensive they were. Yeah, second-hand cars here are very, very expensive over here. Yes, but car prices, you can buy a second-hand car and it'll hold the price as well for a number of years. There was a guy that lives around the corner from me. When he lived in England, he bought £500 cars. He never bought anything more than £500. And he bought a 10-year-old car. Well, he was 9 years old when he bought it. And he paid the equivalent of £3,000 for that. He would have paid £500 for the same car in England, but £3,000. So yeah, cars do hold the value. Cars are very expensive here in Thailand. We bought a brand new car, and it was 525,000 when we bought it 4 years ago. and the insurance valued it now 310. So for a 4-year-old car, it's still 310,000 baht. So the value, I think, hold its own. So you've got to bite the bullet sometimes and pay the price. But if you pay the price, it'll keep that value also. But be good at negotiating. But yeah, 10-year-old vehicles. But the cars here, everything can be fixed here. There's Mercedes cars running around here with their Toyota engines in them. So the Thais are very good at fixing things. By the way, any news on her expat retirement or what she called her channel? She took down the channel whilst on the cruise. Yeah, she's finished. She's not going to do it anymore. She got a few trolls, few bad comments, and she says, "I'm not up for that. I don't need the trolls and the bad mouthing that she got." So she packed the channel in, and I believe now she's not going to be doing it. I've sent her messages, best wishes and best of luck, and I hope Thailand works out for her and everything. So that's it. That's as much as I know. But yeah, sadly, the trolls got to her and the bad comments and that. So she's just wrapped it in and finished it. But I think she had the makings of a brilliant channel, especially for the ladies, who want to come over. And what she wanted to do, her plans for doing were very reasonable and very. In fact, she went from 121. I think she had 121 subscribers when we first met, and when she was on the cruise coming back to Thailand, she had over 1,000 subscribers. So, she had the makings of a very, very good channel. But anyway, sadly, the trolls won. Waiting for the final date and money of our property, then retire to Fisanolok. Sorry about the pronunciation. With my Thai wife. House nearly finished, got the retirement visa, and last trip, 5 or 3 months, began again. Okay, good for you. Looks like you got your ducks in a row. Everything's looking good. I give you the best wishes that I can give you for living here in Thailand, and I'm sure you love it. It's a different lifestyle, that's for sure. And best wishes. Thanks very much for having a look at the live stream. 58 in the house and 49 thumbs up. Any chance of any more thumbs up from the people? If you've liked it, I'll give it a thumbs down if you don't like it. Everybody goes on about the YouTube algorithm, and the YouTube algorithm is a crazy thing. I can't crack it. When some people get like 10 or 15,000 views for a beef burger in Pattaya, and I get 1,000 views on talking about the recycle method on the visa and stuff like that. Visa or beef burger? Beef burger or beef burger wins. I'm not complaining. I've got 8,500. I was trying to get 10,000. I'm trying to get 10,000 subscribers by Christmas, but yeah, maybe it's next Christmas. But never mind. In trouble with second cars from dealers are nearly all expensive as new because the people who buy off them can't finance the new car dealers, so they have to go for them. Yeah, you're spot on there. The second-hand car prices hold their own from dealers. Now, I would say if you're going to buy a second-hand car, well, as a foreigner, you can't get finance for second-hand cars. You can go to a rent to buy. Now there's a couple of places in Pattaya that do rent to buy to foreigners, so you don't need a Thai partner to be able to buy it. But you can buy it on a monthly rent to buy. Once you pay the last payment, it becomes yours. But if you buy it for cash, the thing is with the UK, there's a copy of everything that happens to that car. If it's involved in an accident, whether it's involved in insurance, where it's been stolen, there's a list of everything that's happened to that car. So you can pay and you can look at that list. Now, as far as I'm aware, there isn't a list like that here in Thailand. And in Thailand, they do what's called cut and shunt, where they have the front end of one car and the back end of another, same model, and weld it together so it looks like a brand new car. And I've got to say, I've seen some, and you wouldn't know they've been involved in an accident. They've actually, you know, some of the garages that I've seen, the car is just so mangled up, and then a week or 2 weeks later, it's back. A friend of mine had a really, really big, severe crash on the back of his car, the back of his truck. And in England, it would have been wrote off. In here, I think it cost him about 20 or 30,000 baht to get fixed. And it was fixed back on the road. So you've got to be wary when you're buying second-hand cars here, that's for sure. And yes, it is. I would go, if you're living here for the long time, I would struggle and pay to buy a brand new car, especially if you're married, because then your wife can get the finance and then you can pay the finance off. Go for new, then you know if it's had any bother. But buyer beware when you're buying second-hand cars, that's for sure. How much is a postage to go for a shirt, Les? Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? On one of my businesses that I do, I was doing cards, and they were like birthday cards, Christmas cards, greeting cards, all sorts of things. But I had a system where I could make their own cards, and because I was a firefighter, I went into the firefighter retirement niche, and I was advertising in America and England, and I had a few people who bought the cards from Canada. But to post a card, a nicely made, good quality card with an envelope, and I was still making money on the card, but to post the card to Canada, it was £7, the equivalent of £7 to send the card to to Canada. And the card itself was only £2, but it cost me £7 to send it to Canada. Tick that off the list. That's never going to happen again. To post another card to England was £5 to send it to England. Tick that off. To post a card. So now I make it so it's downloadable. So they can download the same quality card as what I could send them. And that is far, far better to do it that way than it is to post somewhere. To post a t-shirt like this to England was £10. I could get this shirt for 300 baht, 300 baht with the logo on it. So £7, but it was going to cost me £10 to send it somewhere. So there's Printify where you can get them to print the shirt from all over the world. But again, they make the money. The Printify makes the money, not me. I make a small amount of money if I did it that way. So I've tried it. It doesn't work. And like the mugs, I can't send that to England or America because it's ceramic, and they will not post ceramic from Thailand. And to get DHL to do it, it's like £10 or £11 again to post the mug. But in Thailand, I can post it in Thailand, and it's like 50 baht to post anywhere in Thailand. So I do sell the mugs for 300 baht each. The Retired and Living the Dreams, and it's got Retired and Living the Dream on both sides. So I've got a few mugs, and I just sell it to people, or if people come and visit me, I give them it as a gift if they come around the house. Because my little view of selling t-shirts, because t-shirts are so cheap here in Thailand, this is a good quality shirt, but the trouble is the postage costs anywhere in the world is prohibitively expensive. So I bought the press machine to do the mugs like that. I was almost going to buy the printing machine so I could print my own shirts and things like that. But when I found out what the price is to post them everywhere, it was, forget about that idea. But all will be revealed in my Making Money in Thailand videos. And I'll give you some examples and costings and things like that, as to everybody says it's so easy to do, but it's not easy to do, not by a long shot. Okay, let's go. People talk about making money in Thailand. It's hard. I tried long hours for low returns. Yeah, again, I've spent a lot of hours in this past year trying to do something, trying to find the golden goose, if you like. And everybody will talk about buying the golden goose, and I'll sell you it if you come on this course, but you don't get the golden goose at all. And that's, in some ways, I sort of don't blame the people, because if you've got a money making scheme, you don't want everybody to do the same thing. But what they make the money on is selling the courses, telling you how to do it. And in reality, everything is available on YouTube. And if you look for it, Udemy courses and things like that, but it's still very, very difficult to put it together. There's no magic button or magic key to turn to be able to do it. And this is all I'm going to explain on the videos of what I've done, how I've done it, and if it's failed or if it's working. So that'll be an interesting video to do. Yes, Liz, you need to show. I've got to say, there's a few YouTube, and I won't do. You'll very, very rarely see my wife on any of the videos. I don't use her as clickbait. I don't use her. There's a number of YouTubers use their partners or wives as clickbait, and that's what gets the numbers up. I mean, one guy said to me, I'd probably get more views if I videotaped Ploy washing my car as opposed to me washing the car. And rightly so, I would get more views if Ploy was washing the car with the soap suds and everything else like that. But is that the type of customers that I want, or type of clients I want? I think not. Ploy doesn't want to be on videos. She'll show her face occasionally and have a little bit of things, but she doesn't want to be on YouTube, and I don't want to be putting her on YouTube. There's one guy that I know that used to show his wife's boobs all the time because she had big boobs, and he seems to think clickbait, sex sells. Of course it does, but I'm not into that, and I'll draw the line at showing a bird's bottom. But yeah, thumbnails are very, very important, and I'll probably not crack that one yet, but we'll see. Soup Dragon, hello Les, hope you're well. Yeah, I'm fine, thank you very much. All is well in Thailand. Pardon me, all is well here in Thailand. I'm getting bit by mosquitoes. Excuse me. Singha is very gassy. It's the diet lemonade with no calories. So excuse me for burping. I've lost my train of thought now. So, okay, let's go back to there. Yeah, I'm okay. Mosquitoes are biting me at the minute because it's like, well, it's dark now. It's not even dusk, is it? It's dark. Yeah, clear skies. The stars are out tonight. So, but my solar lights, as I said there, I bought them 2 years ago, and they're still going strong. And the light for a good 8 or 10 hours, well, good 10 hours every night. So solar is well worth it, for the lighting around the house. It's brilliant. It's like free once you buy the solar light, of course. Bird's backside, yeah. Yeah, and well, she makes 12,000 baht a month plus 15,000 baht a month. Happy days for her. Duncan, man, she makes 12. I don't know with that one. There is a couple of ladies. Well, there's a lady here who's married to a Thai man. I forget her name, but she does vlogs for living in Thailand with a. Now she's cracked the code. She gets thousands of views, and I think Social Blade says she's on something like $5,000 or $10,000 a month on the YouTube channels. But again, she's an attractive girl. She shows the right assets. She attracts people in because, she's a nice looking girl also, and she's got her own makeup. I think she got her own dresses and things like that. So she markets well, and she does it well. She's cracked the code, and she's married to a Thai guy. And you know, there's always the clickbaity videos that she does, like, you know, oh, it's not working with me and my husband, or my husband's left. And then when you watch the videos, yeah, he's left to go to 7-Eleven. Anyway, as I said, but there's an audience to everything, you know. There's a few YouTubers that have come on here that are really good. That are really, who do I follow? Life in Thailand with Ben at the minute. He's just built a big house. He lives off grid and things like that. He's shot up. He's got over 10,000 subscribers now in I think a little over 18 months. But he's a very entertaining guy. He's another English guy, but I watch him. I don't really follow many other YouTubers because we're all different, you know. Some people are living about Udon and that type of thing, you know, near the rivers. The patio ones are obviously totally different to me. I live here in Rayong, and I'm like the married guy who lives a nice, quiet lifestyle. To some people, that's not exciting, that's boring. You know, the people who come to patio, they'll never ever watch my channel because it's not what they want. I'm for the people who are wanting to settle down, got the Thai girlfriend, got the Thai wife, want to move outside the patio. That's my audience. And it's growing slowly but surely. But it is what it is. Yeah, import cars at 200% tax. That's great. That's why there's not many imported cars. I'd like to visit you next year. No problem. No problem, Scott. You know, the kettle's always on. Anybody that passes my house is always welcome for a cup of coffee and a sit on the sofa. And we'll put the world to rights, no problem. I probably meet people every single week, and I enjoy it, and it's good fun because we put the world to rights. I can give some advice, whether you take it, whether you don't, it's up to you. But I think the more advice or more people's opinions you get, you draw your own conclusions and you make your own path. But there are some other people who live here who don't listen to anybody, and they get it wrong, and they get it wrong big time. And I could give you at least 4 examples in the past year, but I won't. Paul, Les, it's time to go now. I'll email you early next year to pick your brains for a few things, and I'm getting ready to round. But well, thanks very much for calling, Paul, and thanks very much for watching. Not calling. I look forward to your call next year. If I can give you any advice, and it's good and it works, fantastic. So best wishes for your future plans living here in Thailand. Thanks very much for joining us on the live stream. What time is it now? 6:30. Oh yeah, 2.5 hours. We've been going 2.5 hours. So you usually lasts for 3 hours, but now it's dark, and you know, and we've still got 65 people in the house, which is very good. Thanks very much for those people who are still here. It must be. If anybody's got any questions, just put a Q in the question queue to say it's a question. Then I'll answer any questions whilst I'm on here. So I go through the comments and talk about the bits of things. Does that Thai woman mainly go for marriage in relationships, or will they, in general, also agree long-term relationships without the formal marriage? Being burned up here, never doing it again. No, that's a difficult one. That's a difficult one. Okay, I will give you a channel to go and have Greeny Travels, and he's just done. And I felt sorry for the guy, Greeny. I've met him a couple of times in Jomtien, and I've talked to him, but not a lot. But I followed him, Greeny, from when he first arrived in Thailand, and I think I was probably one of his few first subscribers when he was doing quarantine in Bangkok. A nice guy. He got with a Thai girl. He ended up getting married, and she was a lovely girl. And they seem to have it all, a good lifestyle together, but sadly they've got divorced. And a long story short, now he's looking for another girlfriend. He's using Tinder and he's using Thai Friendly, and he's looking for a girlfriend, but he's frustrated at the fact that he can't find a nice girl. The amount of girls on Tinder and Thai Friendly asking for short time, long time, whatever, not what he's wanting. And people are using false photographs. So when he goes to meet them, the photographs has been AI'd, so they look totally different. I know where he's coming from because I've been there. I mean, I used to do the internet dating 10 years ago, and it's totally, totally different now. So it is hard to meet a nice girl on the internet, but there are some girls out there. So as far as girls wanting relationships, have a look at Greeny's videos. How many people contact him? Do you want somebody for the night? Do you want this for the night? Do you want that? I don't want a long-term relationship. Blah, blah, blah. Lie and, false. I think Thailand now has become much, much more difficult to find a nice girl. And I think if you find a nice girl in Thailand, you've got to hang on to them because they're like hen's teeth. I was going to say rocking horse poo, but they're like hen's teeth. But they are out there, but it's just difficult to find. So I felt sorry for Greeny because it was from the heart that he was so frustrated and so unhappy with. He's trying to. He's a nice guy. He comes across as a nice guy, but he hasn't found the nice girl. He's found a lot of bad girls, if you like, and he susses them out very, very quickly. And every failed relationship hurts, no matter who you are. So Greeny's going through a bit of a hard time at the minute, but I wish him the best of luck, and I hope he does find the girl that he wants. But that's internet dating. So that's a bit of a long-winded answer to your question with regard to with the girls for marriage or relationships and things like that. A girl does like commitment over here because marriage seems a little bit more secure than not being married. And like I said, a couple of the guys that I know just died weren't married to their Thai partners, and their Thai partners thought they were going to get a pension, and then they'd been with them for like 5, 6, 7 years on the two of the girls. And when the partner died, they got nothing, no insurance, no pensions, absolutely nothing. So they'd spent 5 or 6 years or 7 years of their time being with this guy, thinking, that they were told they were going to get a pension. And when they died, they got nothing because they weren't married to them. So by being married to a Thai girl, sometimes, there's a pension or there's a bit of a payoff. Whereas if they're not married to you, there isn't any payoff. And in fact, these two girls ended up having to pay for their partners to be cremated. It was like a pauper's funeral for, I think, 30 or 40,000 baht. And then they're back to square one. But, 5 to 7 years older than what they were before they met the new guy. They're having to start all again. So the girls are looking for security as well, because they do have a shelf life, as sad as that sounds, doesn't it? But everybody has a shelf life, and they're looking for, some stability in their lives also. So it's a bit of a long-winded answer to that question, but you can understand it from their point of view as well now. Thank you, Les. Good man from New Zealand. Okay, cheers, Scott. Thanks very much. Okay, the broccoli shops. I have no idea anything about the broccoli shops. I say broccoli because it's not well liked on YouTube, mentioning the C word. So the broccoli shops, no idea. I've never had it, never want to do it. I'm happy enough without taking it. So I'm the wrong person to ask about the broccoli shops. Hi, Les. What is the most popular area to live in Rayong, in your opinion? I don't know. I mean, I live in a small part of Rayong, and I would say that anybody who lives anywhere in Rayong is going to favour their location. But I would say Nai Rai Nai Rai is good because it has a lot of markets, a lot of things happening. There's a lot of bars, and Melonpun Beach, which is just around the corner. So there's a lot more going. My wife, if she had the choice, we'd be living in Nai Rai. But when we moved to this house, it was in our early days, and I always liked this house. So she moved along with me. And if I had my choice again, I would probably go to Nai Rai because there's more things happening there. Or you've got more choices to do the things that you want to do. Whereas here, because we live remote, we're happy living here like this. But I sometimes wish there was a little bit more action, a little bit more things to do around here without driving, because I don't drink and drive. And whereas Nai Rai, there's a few places you could walk to, or certainly get a taxi back or a motorbike taxi, whereas here you can't. So I would say Nai Rai, have a look around Nai Rai. That's a nice place. Question: have you many golf courses in Rayong? Not so many in Rayong, but there's I think 8 or 10 around Pattaya. You know, some really, really good top playing. There's a guy who just lives around the corner from me. He's a proper golfer, and so is his friend and his wife, and he plays golf every week. But it's not cheap. It's about £60 a day to go and play golf in the golf courses around here. It costs you about £60, so it's not cheap. So no, I'm not into golf, but there are some world-class golf courses around here, so I've been told. Or when I did my research about people coming to Thailand, there is some nice golf courses. I think internet dating can be difficult, but if you combine that with searching in Pattaya, it's almost impossible. Looking in less tourist areas may be more successful. Yeah, I agree with you. I would say if you have a group of friends that have all got Thai girlfriends and Thai wives and things like that, invariably your friends, you need to improve your social skills and get with other groups of guys. It's like us. I mean, Ploy knows other ladies that are nice ladies that are looking for foreigners, and although we don't do that, there are plenty of ladies asking Ploy, can you find me a foreigner? Can you find me, especially up in a village? She gets requests almost every week. You know, can you find me a falang for my daughter, for my sister, and things like that. So as a friend, he's not going to put you into a girl that's going to rip you off. And like the Thai girlfriend or the Thai wife isn't going to suggest somebody that's going to rip you off, because then it's bad news for her with a husband or a boyfriend. So I would say that's the number one way, if you're looking for a nice girl, is expand your group so you're socializing with groups that are already with Thai partners and Thai girlfriends and Thai wives. They will find you a nice girl for sure. There are nice girls in Pattaya that have just come from the village, been there for a month. But for me, if you find a bar girl that's been there for 9 months to a year, they're tainted. They've been lied to so many times as well. How many foreigners say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to come back for you. I'll send you money," blah blah blah. Then they never hear from them again, and that's what happens sometimes. Is that the girls get let down as well. So you can go to Thai What to Do, Home Pro. Nearly all the staff are women and girls. And you can have a bit of a giggle, bit of a flirt and things like that. Even the 7-Eleven girls, some 7-Eleven girls. But that's much more getting into the dating scene. Whereas in Pattaya, the bar girls and things like that, you know what the score is. And there's no, you're not going to get a slap across the mouth if you say, how much is it going to cost to take you home with me tonight? Whereas if you said that to a girl that's in Thai What to Do or 7-Eleven, you're going to get a mean stare. So find a group of people, find some friends that already have girlfriends and wives. They will find you the nice girls. That's my number one tip as far as finding relationships here in Thailand. Mr. Who, wow, Les, you're still going. I've done the laundry, been to the shops, and had a bacon sandwich. I've got to look forward. I've had me one meal a day because I'm on my keto diet again. So I lose 10 kilos before I go on my holiday. I've had me one meal a day, and my dessert now is a Greek style yogurt with berries. So that's what I'm looking forward to when I finish here off the live stream. Yeah, so with 2 3/4 hours. 2 3/4 hours. So we'll go for 3. We'll go for 3 hours. So another 15 minutes and I'll sort of wrap things up. Unless there's plenty of questions that are coming my way. I don't mind. I'm a mind of information. So if anybody's got any questions, please go ahead and ask away. Trying something that's meant to have amazing health benefits. 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, 1 tablespoon of lemon drink, half hour before eating breakfast or just before bedtime. Yeah, now I do olive oil. I do the magnesium capsules. There's 300 benefits for magnesium capsules. They're very, very good. I just find the keto diet an easy. For the first week, it's difficult because you still feel hungry. But once you're into the first week, after the first week, even sometimes I could skip the meal because you're just not hungry. Because look, there's plenty of fat around. Well, you can't see, but there's still plenty for my body to eat. My body will never ever go hungry. I mean, my heaviest, I was 118 kilos, and now I'm 104. So 14 kilos lighter. That's a lot of weight. I did get down to 95, and I've crept back up again over the year or so. So I've always had trouble with my weight. Always yo-yo going up and down. And I know what people are going to say: exercise, eat. You are what you eat. You know, I like my food. If I want a cake and I want a biscuit, I'll have a cake and a biscuit, and I pay for the price for it later on. And so that's me. Keto, easiest diet I've ever been on. I enjoy the keto because then for me it's just like eating Western food, because then I can cook this, well, not spaghetti bolognese, it's zucchini made to look like spaghetti, and butter chicken and meatballs, and it's just like eating Western food in Thailand because I'll cook it myself. And I know what's gone into it, and I know it's good for what I want. And my wife loves it as well, because then she doesn't have to bother cooking food for me. She just helps herself, and she has her Isan food, which I don't like anyway. So swings and roundabouts. All right. It lowers cholesterol, protects the heart, reduces cancer risk. Yeah, well, the keto diet does a lot of that as well. Hello, Les. What's the exchange rate of the money exchange for the pound? Oh, it's not very good. I looked today, and it was 43.73, which is crazy because a couple of months ago it was tipping towards 45. It's crazy. I don't know why it goes up and down so much, but 44. I mean, before Brexit, it was 50 baht, 52 baht, but then the lowest it dropped down to was about 37 baht, which was horrible. But 44 baht, yeah. But it is what it is. I change my money on the 1st or the 2nd of every month. I get whatever I get for that day. But sadly, 44. Hopefully it'll start rising again, but who knows. Happy Sunday evening, Les. Thank you very much. I found that Thai girls are much more open and flirty compared to the Filipino girls, who are very conservative. The Thai girls, I was in shopping in Macro, not Macro, in Thai What's to Do today, and yeah, basically, I mean, I wasn't with my wife, obviously. I was on my own, but the eye contact you get with the girls in Thai What to Do, there's some very beautiful, attractive girls on the phone type of thing, and you can sort of click when some girl likes you more than others. There's a chemistry, like, if you look at somebody's eyes for 3 or 4 seconds, they're like you and you like them. But there's many books about that type of thing. But yeah, you can pick up a girl in Thai wants to do, but whether they'll leave their job to be with you, that's another sticky question. But I've done videos about that. The fact that many guys want a working girl, a nurse or a dentist assistant or a school teacher and things like that. They work 5 or 6 days a week doing that. So living together and going on holidays together is virtually an impossibility, because they will not give up their work. It's took them years to get to the position that they're at. They will not give up the work for you, because you can be gone tomorrow, and their job, it'd be very, very difficult to get back up to that situation of being employed at the position that they're in. So, and life with a girl that's working all the time isn't much fun, because I've done that. I did that. And that's what I'm saying with Ploy, like that, clicking my fingers, we could go on holiday tomorrow. She'll have the suitcase packed and it'll be in the car tomorrow morning, and away we go. Because she doesn't work. Because I give her an allowance to be with me for 24 hours a day. So I can just say, okay, tomorrow we're going to go to Bangkok, or tomorrow we're going to do this. But if you've got a girl who works, she can't do that. So it's a different situation to be in. But, it doesn't suit everybody to live 24/7 with somebody. Me and Ploy get on. She speaks perfect English. We can have a conversation together about anything and everything, and it's good. But for those girlfriends that can't speak good English and you can't really have a good conversation, I can understand it being frustrating sometimes. Okay, quick. Was our question: what do you personally think it's the best option in relationship to visa requirements? Putting 800,000 in the Thai bank account, gain small interest, 65,000 a month, or 3, the agent angel. I'll answer the potato one in a minute. I'll come second. I would say personally, and I recommend this to most people, the 65,000 baht a month method. Because then you haven't got 800,000 baht tied up in the bank account. Unless you're 65 to 70 and you don't have medical insurance, then it's there as an emergency backup. Because I've got 700,000 bahts worth of medical insurance, and that cost me 25,000 baht a year. I can find 25,000 baht, but I can't find 700,000 baht if I have to go to hospital for anything. 700,000 baht isn't a lot of medical cover, but it's better than nothing at all. And if you have nothing, then it can be expensive for medical treatment here. So swings and roundabouts. If you're 65 plus or 60 with a few medical problems, use the 800,000 baht, because then that's your emergency medical treatment if you need so. And if you go below the 400,000 baht that you're supposed to keep in the bank account, you can always use an agent the following year and top it. So you've got more maneuverability with the 800,000. With a 65,000 baht, if you've got medical insurance or you're covered, you have to spend money here every month anyway. So if you're spending 40 or 50,000 baht, you're not far off the 65,000. So just put a little bit of money into that account to bring it up to 65,000, and then don't, send that money back to your home country. I call it the recycle method for those people who actually don't have the 65,000 a month coming in. You can use that money to recycle, to show immigration that you're on 65. I don't spend, if I wasn't on a marriage visa, I still don't spend 65,000. So technically, I don't qualify for the retirement visa because I don't bring enough money in. But why 65? If you don't spend it, why do you need to bring it all in? It's your money. You do whatever you want to do it. So there's ways and means and methods. Using an agent for your first year can be as cheap as 25 and as expensive as 39. But the agents wave the magic wand. You don't have to show anything. You don't have to show any income. You don't have to show any 800,000 baht in the bank. Swings and roundabouts for all 3 methods. But if you want to save the money, because your visa, if you do it yourself, it's 1,900 baht compared to 25 or 39. But that's on the first year. On the second year, it goes from 12 to 15,000. So 12 to 15,000. It's 2,000 anyway, or 1,900. So you're paying an extra 10 or 12,000 baht for the fact that the agent does all the work for you. There's no sitting in the queue. It's done. Brown envelopes. So swings and roundabouts. Okay, I hope that answers your question. And the potatoes. Yes, we do get potatoes in Thailand. And I've got to say, because we don't eat many potatoes here, when I have, my mother used to cook potatoes, everything. Potatoes. And I said, Mum, can't you do anything different with the potatoes? Because it's just smashed potatoes. But potatoes, you can get them over here, but I don't get many of them. But I know what you're saying, bangers and mash. Mashed potato with butter in it, or cream, or milk. Yep. Now you're getting my taste buds going for potatoes and chips. I love chips, proper chips. Right, so I'm the same as you with the diet, Les. I just wish the meat was as cheap in the UK as it is in Thailand. The keto diet is a great, but can cost a fortune. Yeah, it can do, yeah. I mean, meat, chops, pork, it's just so cheap here, and yeah. I mean, there's a carnivore diet as well, where you just eat meat. I'm not quite just a carnivore diet. I like I like all vegetables, and I like salad, and I don't have a problem with it. My wife hates vegetables and salad, so she never ever has it. But I love me broccoli, me cauliflower, me cucumbers, me anything and everything. So I'm quite easily pleased. You can do a stir fry with all your vegetables, and it's next to nothing for carbs. But as I'm saying, England is expensive for anything. Healthy food is more expensive than junk food in England. Off to keto lack next week. Koh Lak next week. No, I've never been to Koh Lak. No, never. It's on my bucket list to go. Question, does anybody come from England come out to visit you? Yes, I've had several people from England come to visit me. Come and sit on the chair, have a coffee, and live around the corner. Yeah, I've had people from all over the world here. And it's just nice to sit and have a coffee, or we'll go to the beach for lunch or something like that. And, there are some... I'll give you the one story, unrealistic view of Thailand. And this guy, he likes fishing. And my home is called Lake View, or Lake Home. And we've got fishing lakes all the way around here. And he liked my area because it's in the countryside and he likes fishing. And he was 72 years old. And he come to visit me. And he said, I'm coming to Rayong. I mean, give me 24 hours notice. I'm coming to Rayong tomorrow, Leslie. He said, I'd like to meet you. I said, I'd like a bit. He said, well, I'll be there tomorrow. Okay, then. So I met him. I give him a hotel to stay at, and I met him. And we always go for a coffee. And one of the first questions, what are you looking for? Tell me what you're looking for, and I'll point you in the right direction. And this guy he said, I want a girl, doesn't want any money off me. She has to have her own car. She has to have her own house. And if she's got a fishing lake, then that ticks all the boxes. And I said, well, what have you got to offer? He said, nothing. I don't want to give her any money. He said, all I've got is me pension. And he said, I'm not in very good health. So I said, well, there's not many Thai girls with their own house, with their own car, not looking for an English guy with no money who's of ill health. So I said, I think you're looking in the wrong direction. And he got quite upset at that. But I've been, brutally honest with him. There's nobody looking for a 72-year-old guy with no money, with failing health, who's already got a house and a car. And off he went. He wasn't a very happy chappy, but just unrealistic views of Thailand. He thought he could just go and get a Thai girl because he was a foreigner and they'll fall all over him. But, sorry, sometimes I can be blunt, but I am bluntly honest, and I'll tell you how it is. Same with the internet girls, things like that. If you think you're the only person that she's talking to, well, you're very, very sadly mistaken, because they're talking to hundreds and hundreds of other people. And that's no joke with the hundreds. So if it works out, fantastic. But if it doesn't, buy beware. Try internet. I do intermittent. That's why I only have one meal a day. And my eating spell is between 12 and 6. And now we're past 6 o'clock. So I'm almost 7 o'clock. So I might have to forego my yogurt or my Greek yogurt tonight. 7 o'clock. 3 hours. 4, 5, 3 hours. Wow. So, yeah, intermittent, that works very well. You know, again, I mean, I don't feel hungry now because I had something to eat 12 o'clock, but I don't feel hungry now. And that's the beauty of the keto diet, because you don't feel hungry. And, but, you know, everybody's diet, there's lots and lots of different diets out there. And, you know, one diet doesn't suit everybody. Otherwise, the whole world would be skinny. But the food industry makes sure that we're all fat, you know, because of their big profits. Question, can you buy potato mashers in Thailand? Yes. Yeah, the tatty masher, you can buy tatty masher. No problem. Potato masher, Lazada is fantastic. Lazada sell everything, absolutely everything. I love Lazada. We probably have Lazada delivering here every week. I get all my stuff off Lazada. I've only been disappointed a couple of times. The quality sometimes. I've just bought an office chair, and it was for up to 200 kilos. Now I'm 104 kilos, but they said 200 kilos, and within 2 days it broke. And now I'm trying to get me money back or a new chair, and it's proving difficult. Even though I had a 3-month warranty on it, they're still trying not to send me a chair. So, but that's it. But if you if you buy anything in Thailand, I had an argument about a printer not doing what it says on the can. And once you've paid the Thai person or Thai company your money, you're very, 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 very lucky if you get it back. The guarantee is not worth the paper it's wrote on over here in Thailand. They will argue over anything and everything. So if you bought a faulty potato masher, you wouldn't get your money back. Fish and chip shops. Yeah, now there's a fish and chip shop in Pattaya. And I'm not a big fish eater, but I like cod and chips. And this guy does cod and chips. And everybody says the fish and chips look brilliant, look very, very nice. And he's sort of renowned for his fish and chips. And what put me off the fish and chips was when I walked past the guy who was doing, and he's a Nick, I think he's either English or Irish he is, but he's like quite a well-built guy. I won't say fat, he's well-built. And the sweat that was coming off his head, and he had a towel wrapped around it, but the sweat was dripping off him. And I'm thinking, that's not much fun working in Thailand, sweating your ghoulies off like that. And, you know, having to work for a living. And as he was taking the fish off, the sweat was dripping from him. So a part of that sweat might end up on the fish or the chips or whatever. So just thinking, no, I can't eat fish and chips with a guy that's been sweating profusely all over me food. So no. But I don't eat fish and chips very often. I don't like the Thai fish. It's got a different taste. I'm a cod and chips man or haddock, and that's it. Sweaty batty bits. Do you remember you could get the deep fried Scotland deep fried Mars bars and deep fried Snickers? Yeah. It's a totally different life living over here, but I love it. And so here we are now, 3 hours, and I'm going to call that an end of a day. It's been 3 hours. My voice has gone a little bit hoarse. So thank you so much for everybody that's joined me on the live stream. I enjoy doing the live streams. We've talked about many, many things. And obviously by the numbers, you know, we've still got 66 in. And it's average between 40 and 60 people at any one time. So thanks very much. I hope you found the information good for you. And I'll try to do it every couple of weeks or something like that. Oh, Mark, thank you very much for the super chat donation. £10, is that? Yeah, £10. Much appreciated. Thanks you very, very much. So, okay, good night, everybody. Enjoy your weekend, and thanks very much for joining. So, bye for now.